forum kan ayaa gelin kartaa at ForumCiv ayaa gelin kartaa. Waa haystaa Madam Fatuma anajua. Kwa hivyo ukipiga picha lazima upost. Ni kitu kidogo sana. Na hapa iko na wifi. Iko na wifi, unaweza itisha password ukiwekewa. So ukipiga picha, ukiwa pale, ukiwa unaongea basi unapost mara hiyo. Kama uko na Twitter handle, pia yako unapost, lakini tuweze kutumia hii hashtag ya Jumuika Sikika Wajir ili basi hiki tuweze kwenda viral na Wakenya wengine pia waweze kuona ya kwamba sisi wote tunawajibika. Tunawajibika ndio maana. Kwa hivyo basi tunawapenda hada soga shay fadlan magacaada qor kursiga ku fadhiiso meesha tunataka kwa live ilina qoto koox dhaantana way joogan oo meeshan hogo marka daashin madadaali yara jirta saasma maanta inta la hergelay la galabti saasma bas waxyaalahan kulli waxa ka iman kara marka hadaan fiirino habkan dawladda maaragtay awalan ba u soo aasno Soomaha laga yaabo hadda laga yaabo xafiisaha qoftaga oo weydinay xafiiskan shaqadiisa maxay tahay ma jira ma jiro laakiin xaqaadu waa inaad tagto xafiiska oo horta xafiiskan shaqadiisa waa maxay inaad ogaato laga yaabo xafiiska ba inaad shaqadiisa bad garanaynin soo saasma taas waxay ka mid tahay marka la xisaabtanka qofkaad marka shaqadaas loo dhiibay inaad la xisaabtami karto qofka xafiiskaas fadhiyo shaqada mishaarka araasiyo cashuurta adaa laga qaadaa haddii wax maysan ka dhacaan hay dawladda waxay ka sugtaa lacagaha canshuurta ay aruuriso oo shacabka laga aruuriyo saasma unga haata waxyaalaha la gadanayo meeshaas laga bixi laakiin qofkii aad mishaarka asiinayso oo shay shaqo ka qortay hadaba la xisaabtami ka waran dhibaato ay leedahay Soomaa marka anaga waxaan kuraha marka rino oo qofkii kuraha marka ku soo galo kursiga wuxuu ahaadaba shaqada la siiyo bas asaga marka tuugsanayna shalay asaa ku tuugsanay ala shaqo siisay kibaandhaadu shaqo ku helay kuraadu shaqo ku helay laakiin berri markuu wax noqdo ara u tagay adna tuugsanaya waxa laga rabay marka vice versa ina noqoto bahasha ninka xildhibaanka ninka governorka ninka maartay MCA asjay shaqada siiday inuu asagu ku tuugsado say wax yeela maxay yeelay shaqaaluhu ku yahay Soomaha laakiin anaka shacab ahaan waxaan ilownay xaqi aan meesha ku leeyahay dastuurka wadanka maxuu siinaya awoodda dastuurka wadankana siinaya maxay awoodii aan garanayna shacabka awood u leeyahay maxay yeelay hadaba ninkan shaqaaleyn karto shaqadana waa ka tiri kartaa saasma marka anaka waxaan ilownay dastuurka wuxuuna si awooduna si ayaan ilownay marka qofka waxaa la rabaa in xisaabtankaas lala galo oo dawladda la xisaabtamo oo wixii la sameeyay wixii la qabanayaba daraad waa aragteen Soomaha madaxweynaha ku xigeenka markii baarlamaanka arrimihiisa la geynayay soo sameeyeen maxaa la sameeyay public participation sameeyeen public participation maxaa loo sameeyay public participation waxaa loo sameeyay horta shacabka waxay ka qabaan waa in aad iska soo istaagtaa ninka shaqada aan ka tirna miskaha horta waa in wadankii maartay shacabkii loo keeno shacabka raayigooda ay ka dhiibtaan ma ku haboon tahay kuma haboono shacabka raayigooda in la dhageysto ina awood leeyihiin public participation waxa tusinaya marka shacabka awood u leeyahay marka awooddaas ina ogaatiin la rabaa maanta oo awooddaas baratiin oo maartay maamul wanaag sidoo ku iimaan kara waa anako maartay iskaashano oo shacab ahaan xuquuqda oo maartay dastuurkana siiyay waa ina ogaana ana uma sintiin kuwina taagan fadlan hala fadhiisto waxaan sugaynaa marka panelka ay imaadaan oo maartay xafladeena si toos ah u bilowno isan nagaa nageenya keessan badhaadhaa gudduma isan jaaladha akkasuma ayyo iko watu wanaongea Kiborana sio lazima tuongee lugha zote ndio kila mtu akiwa kwa hii hall aweze kujisikia ya kwamba amefika, si ndivyo bana? Wanti nu irraa dubbachuu jirru qara sirkaala hojjaatiin gadabuurti. Sirkaal kun kaat gajjeengi taate sirkaalli kakkee kun atiin su'aala gaafachuu dandeetta. Accountability sun agartee waa gaafachuu dandeetta. Horii kekkee kana akkamiin qabachuu dandeetta. Horii kee kan maan tochuu jirti. Akkuma tin hojja shaqaalee ati qoratte ka dukka yookaan horii siitis taate galgala hojjenni gaddeebii horii kakkee badii horii kamii badee kan ees deeme kan maani min ta'in agat gaafachuu dandeettu. Sirkaalli kulleen hojjatu tatteeti. Sirkaal baanan kana warkan kanu yaad kanaaf yoo kura kennineefi hojjatu tatteeti. Hojjatu warri hojjasi hojjatu illeen hagat su'aalii gaafachuu dandeettu. Horii kee kana akkam ta'uu dandeetta, maan ta'uu jirta, wanni kun maaniif akkan taate, hisaabii kun maaniif wal hanqate agat gaafachuu dandeettu. Waan kan qabachuu jirtu kan akkamiin na qarqaaruu dandeetti agat gaafachuu dandeettu. Ammoo nuyin akka waan hinchiini gaafachuun hin deenna maan jennaan warri nu kalee hojii kennineefi warsun ammallee deemnee yal horiinee kadhan. Maanti sun gaffide duub haqqiteen hin been. Dastuura ka yaad kanaafuu balguut keenya nuu kenne constitutioniin hin beenu haqqi kenna akka wananchi haqqi nuti qabni hin beenu. Maan sila hojja nu beekanne taate sila weezine maan jennaan sirkaal kanayyuu nu yalatti oofnee akka tochine kan hojja nu hin feene baasine kaalleen duuba irreeteen wananchiin irreen hurat. Guyyaa har'a kana wanti nu armite nuufi yaad kanaafuu ka walta gadhufne warri Wajeera cufu yaad kanaafuu akka sila oduu tana dabarsine sirkaal keenalleen accountability yaad kanaafuu tochuu dandeenya. Yoo accountability irraa arganne sirkaal dassa horannaa maayindeleelleen hin dhufte. Maan jennaani wal dhageettii kee jira. Akkuma ollaa kakkeetii hojjaa diiramat gabbaate daa'im kakkee kaati yoo wajaa rufeettaa dallaa ijara akkan qaqqaban kan toj kan maariif hin tochin ettee daa'im kakkee wayitiimta. Akkasumaani sirkaalallee akkas irraa fedhan. Yoo sila walta gad dhufan kan inni waa qabachuu fedhalleen development ta'inni tochuu fedhu haginni gad dhufee maan wananchi walta gayyaame kan qabachuu fedha lama tokko tan ta'uu fedha akkamirraa agartan. Sulleen fulaysiin gad dhuftu duuba public participation irraa gad dhufta mallee. Public participation sun keessatti duuba haqeeteeti waan jettu akkanaan itti akkantiin tolle akkanat tole akkan midhaasinoo wananchi kan hin feenu kan feena kan fudhataniyo. Akkasii duub sirkaalii duub qabate warri kun bisaan fe malee karaa hin fedhu. Warri qara ka warri fedhu bisaan kana ajaarruufi. Maan jennaan sun maaniin gad dhufte public participation kan midhaasan. Yoo ammoo sirkaalii gad dhufe fulaa sila karaa fedhu bisaan ar. Haroo mujjoo ammoo bisaan isanii uru ammallee sila karaa fedhan. Fula karaa hin feen kan ka bisaan fedhan kaani wanni geessu karaa. Duuba sullee wanti gaffida. Haqqiteen hin beekne qara haqqiteen haa barannu. Guyyaa har'a kana waan jedhanii afaan Soomaliitiin hojjaan hime lahisaabtam ka maamulada gobolada waqooyi bari. Akka noodistani hojjaan edee Gaarissa, Mandeera, Wajia wal keessa. Hin beekne qara sirkaal kenna accountability ta'e waa gaafachuu dandeenya. Kee jirti su'aaliin guddoo sun guyyaa har'a kan hojja isan gaafatan dubbadha. Dubbadha akka isan dhageettan akka isan feetan mbeka Mr. Chairman qarqare armi jira inni public participation hedduu hin dhaqa. Maan jennaani constitution beekaa tanaafuyyuu public participation dhaqa. Isanilleen baradha. Fula sirkaalii hujii itti qabatu cufa hagisan dhaxxanii maan sirkaal keessan sun odeeffachuu dandeettan. Suni duuba wanti gad dhufa egeree sirkaalilleeni maayindelee gaffidee wananchilleen sila waan inni fedhu kan irraa argachuu danda'a. Maan jennaani yoo atin laalte ganna 2010 ganni 2009 yoo ilaalte kaawuntii Wajeeraa akkam jira. Kaawuntii Wajeeraa vileejum tokko kaayaat kanaafiyyuu nadheen kan hojjaa bisaan gawaraawedhaan dhiituu hin dandeenye sababa maansaatiif iyyuu ammoo hojjaat baate koona cufa mamtana fuula cufu wanti ati agargu laami bahaa maayindeloo yaayyuu gad dhufte. Sababti gad dhufte maan constitutionitti nuu kenne right sunini ka devolution gad dhufe devolution keessatti duuba horii kan ka duri national government harka qabaattu yal gaffidanii akka yaad kanaafiyyuu warra yala kulleeni ol fuweemaan maayindeloo argatu. Tanaafiyyuu gad dhufe beesa sun kanuu argan ka kaawuntiin argatu kaawuntii Mandeera ka Gaarissa ka Wajeera isiin argattu akka sila irraa fedhan ka hojjechuu maltu hojjechuu jirti. Su'aalan guddoon sun yoo isiin hojjetuutti hin jirre akkamiin hojjechiifne horii kayaat kanaaf huyo midhaasine walta gadhufne sirkaalli kan sirkaala gartee waajibaat warri fudhatee hojii warraa akka dassa qabata akkamiin taana sun irra wal gaafachuu jira akkasumaayyuu tanaafuu duuba guyyaa har'a kan wanti nu gadhufneef sun wal gaafan yoo weessuma sun gadhufte gar wal gaafana ilkee wal ilaalina ilkees wal ilaalina haala halla abka haala furta soma sinii babal asanteni sana. Ona tuko na mwalimu pia anaonesha lugha ya ishara. Tuko na watu ambao hawana uwezo kusikia. Asante mwalimu kwa hiyo kazi nzuri. Leo tunasema ya kuwa tumekutana hapa ili kuweza wewe mwananchi kwanza jisikie wewe mwenye nguvu katika nchi. Kwa sababu serikali ukisikia ni wewe. Wewe mwananchi ndio serikali. Wewe uko na uwezo wa kuajiri na uko na uwezo wa kuvuta mtu kazi. Kwa sababu wao wakubwa wote unaona leo wewe unampigia saluti. Asante. Kwa hivyo wewe ndio uliwaajiri kazi. Leo tunasema good governance, yani governance and accountability in Northern Kenya. Hiyo inamaanisha nini? Maamul wanaag somaha af Soomaali waxa la maamul wanaag. Maamul wanaagana wuxuu ka bilaawna hata guriga reeraha hoos ayuu ka bilaawna soo saasma lazima ujue haki yako. Constitution inasema nini? Jawabu sheega. maanta inta hergelayna horta misalaanteen qof walba qofkii u dhow horta salaam bal u jeesay assalaamu calaykum ku dheh meesha ka bilaabani baasha sama soo dhawaada waxaana ku soo dhawaatin maaragtay hoolka maaragtay Grand Oasis. taariikhda maanta waxay ku beegan tahay taariikh 24 October maantana maaragtay waxaan halkaan u imaanay inaan ka wada sheekaysano ama wax ka fahanno la xisaabtamka maamulada gobolada waqooyi bari. waa maaragtay diimka aan iraade mawduuca maanta oo halkaan u fadhino. af ingiriiska hadaan ku sheego waa governance and accountability in Northern Kenya. taas ayaa af ingiriiska lagu yiraahdaa. halkaana maaragtay qof walba meel walba dawladda jirta Soomaha. dawladda wadankana waa laba nooc. waa national government-ka iyo maaragtay county government-ka. taasna waxaa keenay labada dawladood waxaa keenay waa devolution-ka. devolution-ka markuu imaaday maamulkii lagu hayay national government-ka ayaa maamulkii hoos loo soo dejiyey oo maaragtay dawlad goboleed laga sameeyey si qof walba maaragtay uu xukumi karo oo maaragtay arrimihiisa u toosin karo. Sooxil ku hadal madam. dhamaantan af Soomaaliya ku hadalaya. markii hoos loo keenay dawladahan oo hoos loo soo dejiyay ama maamulkii hoos la keenay sifa maaragtay ugu faa'iideysta maaragtay wadamadan hadda dhulkan maaragtay maayndele ama maaragtay horumarka u jirin ina hor u soo kacaan oo maaragtay dhulka kale ka daba tagaan saas ayaa loo sameeyay. laakiin ma samayn karta harta samaynka la sameeyay ma ka daba tagi hayna. hadda dawlad goboleedka waxay dhisan tahay takriban 15 sano Soomaa ku dhawaan 15 sano. أنا في سواحلي كل شيء يا مادام تعالى في سواحلي كسكو ما في يعني اسمه دومو تشانغو أنا سمعت اسمه دومو تشاكي sawa kabisa. marka waxaan dhahnay dawlad galbeedka takriban 15 sano dhisan yahay Soomaa ma ka daba tagnay marka dhololkii kale. wadanka hadda wuxuu dhisan yahay ugu dhawaan 60 iyo dhowr sano Soomaa sida ugu soo baxnay gacmihii maaragtay guumaysiga saa ugu soo baxnay lixdan iyo dhowr sano dhisan yahay haddaa fiiriso maaragtay waddanka qaybihiisa kale heerkay marahayaan oo ogtiin soo ma laakiin north eastern haddaa la dhaho north eastern waqooyi bari haddaa la dhaho meeshaas ma joognaa boqolkiiba waxaan joognaa boqolkiiba 15 boqolkiiba 15 ayaa hadda intaasna waxaa keentay inta devolutionka la helay dowlad goboleedka inta la helay aan intaas gaarnay laakiin haddii maamulkeena wanaagsanaan lahaa maamulkeena haddaa wanaagsanaan lahaa maanta waxaan joogi lahayn boqolkiiba 60 boqolkiiba 70 waa gaari lahayn laakiin meesha maxaa ka maqan shacabkii xuquuqdooda garanaynin dowladdii shaqadii loo dhiibi garanaynin meesha isku imaaday marka labada dhinacaba wax baa ka qaldan qaladka jira ayaa la sixi rabaa marka qaladkaas lagu sixi rabaa oo maaragtay maamul wanaagu ku iman karaa waa ina maaragtay xuquuqda aad maaragtay dastuurka ku sii waa ina ogaataa waa ina horta dowladda aad ka ogaataa maxaa ku leedahay waxaan soo dhaweynayaa maaragtay managerka Wajir Community Radio gabartayna maaragtay aad u firfircoon oo howlahan iyadana soo waday ku soo dhaw Halima Kaye
Assalamu alaikum Assalamu alaikum tutaanza program yetu manake tuko behind. We were supposed to start at 9. Tumepitwa na 5 minutes. We are late by 5 minutes. Na tunataka kutoka hapa saa 7. Mungu akitujalia. Na tutaki kupoteza muda. Na it should be interactive. Tuwe tukiongea. Na kutakuwa na entertainment. Lakini sasa leo umeitwa na 3 organization. That is Wajir Community Radio, ASDEF na Wajir Peace. Hizi shirika 3 tumefadhiliwa na ForumCiv. ForumCiv na leo hii tuko hapa ili tujadiliane mambo ya demokrasia na accountability ili tuwe tumewajibika kama wananchi wa Wajir. Inshallah hatutachukua muda ni paka saa 7, lakini mkianza kujidrag na kuongea kitu ambaye haina maana itatufikisha paka saa 10. Lakini to stick to time, tukienda lunch naye tutawapatia direction. So ForumCiv leo imetoka all the way from Nairobi ili wakuje waone wao wenyewe kenye tunafanya kama partners watatu. That is Wajir Community Radio, ASDEF na Wajir Peace. Kenye tunafanya Wajir, si mnajua program yetu ya Wajir Community Radio, ASDEF na Wajir Peace pia wako na hiyo na hii democracy and accountability. Leo kama tuko Wajir ni Jumuika Sikika Kike. So mjumuike na sisi kama the 3 partners na wafadhili wetu wa ForumCiv ili sauti yenu isikike. Sawa? So tunaanza inshallah. That is why ForumCiv leo wamekuja Wajir na tunataka kuwakaribisha Wajir. I know wengine wenu si first time, so tutafanya introduction. Wale wametoka ForumCiv mnaweza simama tuwaone, at least wananchi wa Wajir waone. Wanakuja mbele. Okay, haya, mmesikia watu wa ForumCiv, mkuje mbele tafadhalini muonekanwe na wananchi wa Wajir.
Watu wa ForumCiv.
Watu wa ForumCiv tafadhalini. ForumCiv karibuni. Hawa ndo wageni wetu. Na program ya Hilkena Wajir Community Radio hao ndo wametufadhili na tunashukuru sana. Tunawapatia dakika moja mtu aseme jina yake ndo at least watu wajue. Haya, chukua hiyo microphone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Setihin Mafi Antihin. Kwa majina naitwa Abdulatif Ahmed. Nafanya kazi na ForumCiv. Mimi nahusika na mambo ya communications, advocacy, visibility. Nafurahi sana kuwa hapa na nyinyi. Thank you for welcoming us. Shukran.
Thank you Abdulatif.
Habari ya asubuhi.
Nzuri.
Kwa majina naitwa Prudence Karanja. Nafanya kazi na shirika la ForumCiv kama mhasibu na nimefurahi sana kwa hapa leo. Tujumuike, tusikike.
Thank you.
Habari za asubuhi.
Nzuri.
Kwa majina naitwa Daisy Kibon. Pia mimi nafanya na shirika ya ForumCiv kwa upande ya finance na nimefurahi leo kuwa hapa na nyinyi. Asante sana.
Thank you.
Soba waneksan.
Wanaksan wan.
Assalamu alaikum. Kwa majina naitwa Winfred Nkadha. Nimetoka shirika la ForumCiv na ninaongoza mradi wa sasa. Mradi wa sasa ni Strengthen Agency for Social Accountability. Na tunafanya kazi sana na mashirika mawili, nitakuja baadaye kueleza. Nashukuru Sodowatha.
Thank you.
Salamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Kwa majina naitwa Rachel Juma. Nami nafanya kazi na hawa mandugu zangu katika miradi ya wajibu wetu Jumuika Sikika. Na ninashukuru sana kwa hapa, nimefurahi kuwaona. That's it. Asanteni.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Subhanaksa.
Wanaksan.
Kwa majina naitwa Steve Biko, afisa wa mipango ForumCiv chini ya idara ama ile project ambayo inaitwa wajibu wetu Jumuika Sikika, na imani kuwa tutaweza kujumuika siku ya leo na tutaweza kupaza sauti zetu zikaweza kusikika ili tukaweza kuboresha hali na maisha yetu katika Wajir County. Asanteni sana.
Thank you.
Habari asubuhi.
Nzuri.
Naitwa Jacqueline Jaria. Nafanya kazi ForumCiv under capacity ya monitoring and evaluation. Nimefurahi kwa kujumuika na nyinyi na kuwa hapa for Jumuika Sikika Wajir.
Shukran, mnaweza keti. Thank you.
Asanteni, wapi makofi. Karibuni sana.
Wageni wetu kutoka ForumCiv. Sasa tuna introduce participants as per invitation. So kama umealikwa na Wajir Peace, msimame ndo tuwaone participants wa Wajir Peace. Kama umepigiwa simu na Wajir Peace, Wajir Peace. Thank you. ASDEF, kama umepigiwa simu na ASDEF. Thank you. Thank you ASDEF participants. Kama umepigiwa simu na Wajir Community Radio, msimame. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So those are our participants from different partners. Tumewashukuru. Now tuna invite Danto Group watuju entertain. Danto Group, karibuni.
Wapi Danto Group? Koho the Danto awe. Koho the Danto. Wageni wetu wale vijana utawaona hapa wakitutumbuiza, utakuwa wamevaa nguo ya culture, wanaitwa Danto, known for Somali community. Ukiona pia ukifurahia hiyo dance yao, unaweza ukajiunga na hao pia, ufanye mawili matatu ama namna gani? Utajifunza. Wapi Danto Group tafadhali? Tufanye haraka tafadhali. Danto Group. Tuchunge wakati tafadhali. Ni kama kwaya. Wahagak. Wako wapi anko? Sasa sma. Tafadhali tuwape nafasi pia wale wenye kurekodi kamera. Usipite mbele ya kamera. Ukitaka kutoka nje tafadhali tumia hii route. Usipite mbele ya kamera. Tusiwape kazi ngumu tafadhali. Asante sana. This is Banto Group kutoka Wajir County. Karibuni. Maridadi kweli. Ndio. Twende. وكا صعبك هاوي هاوي صعبك ها بخيلنا صعبك يا وليش صعبك اكو بخيلنا حول كلا كلام لها ميلها هنا دراكسي واحده لكن waxa isku mashquulin hayaan ina maartay yaarahan soo bandhigaan oo birsidaha tagaan marka waa juhdi Soomaha marka waxa leenahay Vijana hao wangeweza kujishughulisha mambo nyingine, mambo ya mihadarati na nini, lakini waliona waweze kufanya hivi na waweze kujishughulisha na hii mambo, kuepukana na mambo ya mihadarati. Tunasema tuwapigie makofi kwa mara nyingine. Asante sana.
Assalamu alaikum. Ana maanta meeshan waxaan u fadhiyaa wuxuu almaami u sheegay inaan af Soomaali aan ku tafsiiro. Kalito. MC Kalito, sorry.
Yes, tunasema lazima tuwajibike.
Ana Halima lidaha waxaan meeshan u fadhiyaa inuu wuxuu u sheegay aan si translate gareey maadaama dadka meeshan ay fadhiyaan oo dhan Soomaali u badan yihiin. Wuxuu dhahay dhantada dadkan wiilashan ciyaar ay dhalinyarada ciyaaraan badka ma aragtay ay muqaadaraadka iyo bangiga iyo xashiishka ay gali lahaayeen waxa u dhantay ina sidanayto ay subiyaan anakana aan ku dhirgelino.
Maanta halkan leo tumekaa hapa ama tumekutana hapa kwa hizi mashirika zote wakati wametualika hapa ili tuweze kuwajibika na tuweze kusikika kama wananchi wa Kenya na tuweze kujua haki yetu ya kidemokrasia.
Waxaan maanta meeshan u fadhina waxa isu keenay hay'adahan oo dhan oo inta jooga markan waxa inay nala dhageysto oo anakana dhageysano si xaqayn aan ku fahanno.
Hii ikiwa ni forum na theme ya leo ikiwa ni governance accountability in Northern Kenya.
Theme kaina maanta waxa way la xisaabtanka maamulada goboleedka waqooyi Kenya.
Ni nini hasa governance and accountability? Ni nini maana yake? Ya kwanza ni nini maana yake?
Haddaan isweydana midda u horeysa waxa waaye la xisaabtanka maamul goboleedka waqooyiga maxaa waaye maxay ka kooban tahay?
Ni kujua haki yako. Ya kwanza ni kujua haki yako ya kidemokrasia pamoja na desturi ya nchi inasema nini, inakupea uwezo gani?
Waxay fursad ku siinaysaa inaad ogaato xaqaadi aad ku leedahay iyo waajibaadkaada.
Marka leo basi tunaanza programu yetu moja kwa moja bila kupoteza wakati. Naona tumeweza kupoteza muda kidogo, lakini still we are on time. Wacha sasa nimkaribishe madam wetu, Madam Halima, aweze kuendelea kutoka hapa. Yeye ndo atakuwa kutoka Wajir Community Radio representative, yeye ndo manager. Yeye ndo sasa atakuja kutoa. Halima, tafadhali sana, jukwani lako, na ukimaliza kuongea tafadhali nitakupea kalamu uweze kupiga sahihi pale. Punde tu ukimaliza kutoa remarks yako. Karibu sana.
Waxaan soo dhaweynaa maamulaha Wajir Radio Community oo noo daadahina mashruuc maanta inta baan aan dhageysano.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. As I've told you earlier that this is partnership between Wajir Community Radio, ASDEF, and Wajir Peace with our partner donor, that is ForumCiv. And why we are here today is to engage the people of Wajir on governance and accountability.
waxayna leedahay walaashan Halima maanta waxaan meesha isku imaanay saddex hay'ad way. Hay'adda iyada ay kormeer u tahay Radio Community, ASDEF oo hogaaminayo Michael, iyo Wajir Peace oo Nasir Saman oo hogaaminayo. Waxaan ka hadli doonaa wixii maanta meesha ku qoran sheegaysa ana interest gareyn insha Allah.
The other partners will speak on their programs, but I will speak on behalf of Wajir Community Radio. Wajir Community Radio, we have been implementing our program called Hilkena. Hilkena is Wajibu wetu, and our fans, the listeners who are here, you have been participating in Hilkena program, and you have been a great participants through the radio, and we really welcome you today so that you can see for yourself today why we are here. It has been through the radio, but today we are here so that we can discuss together and give our views concerning governance in Northern Kenya. We are not talking about governance today of Wajir County alone, but we need to shape the governance of Northern Kenya because it really affects us, and the dynamic entire Northern is the same. Thank you.
waxay dhahday programka oo Radio Community wuxuu soo daay mashruuc la dhahay Hilkena. idinkana waad dhageysateen waad la socoteen. wixii aad dhegaysanaysaan oo dhan mashruucaas la rabaa maanta inay meesha waxaa waaye la xisaabtanka maamulada goboleedka Kenya oo dhan.
For Wajir Community Radio, we have been doing radio talk shows, and Hashim was our guest lawyer who have been discussing issues concerning the Constitution of Kenya, and you have really been educated on that. We have also done community forums where we have different locations. We went different locations and aired live proceeding from different locations in Tarbaj, Wajir South, Wajir West, Eldas, and Wajir East.
Our brother, Wakili Ilmoga, Hashil Ilmoga.
Also, we had different poems whereby we have aired messages in terms of poems because our community are semi-illiterate. We cannot say they are illiterate, and they understand the vernacular language very well. So we had to craft messages so that they can easily understand.
waxay dhahdeen dadka oo deegaanka sidii Soomaaliya oo kale badood ma akhrisanin gabayaal loo hagaajinayo sidii ay ku fahmaan mashruuc markaas.
Program and the poems went as planned. We have also supported the Department of Gender Technical Working Group during important days like International Women's Days, 16 days of activism. We have supported them so that we can be celebrating in Wajir peacefully and entertaining, and we have given them a lot of support.
Gender Technical Working Group waxaa waaye partners badan oo isku yimaadaan xafiisaha hata celebrating gender 16 days of activism. So today I will ready to participate in Jumuika. maanta diyaar ma u nahay inaan ka qayb qaadano mashruuc maanta inta yaalo oo la Jumuika Sikika Mtaani Wajir edition. Diyaar ma tihiin? Inta gacanta la tago.
Thank you. Now I welcome my brother Wajir Peace Abdi Nasir Saman so that he can also tell you Wajir Peace what they have been doing and Sasa.
maamulaan soo dhaweyneen Abdi Nasir.
Wajir Community Radio program kaina waa xilkeena wajibu wetu, lakini kwa sasa ala dhaha. So atatuambia hii sasa what is it inamaanisha nini?
Assalamu alaikum.
maanta waxaan saxiixa haynaa meesha saytu xaalada I pledge to uphold democratic values, promote inclusive governance, foster peaceful coexistence, protect freedom of expression, support responsible leadership, promote social justice, engage in civic responsibility, nurture culture of empathy and compassion, embrace sustainability development by spreading the spirit of democracy and accountability.
Side.
Makofi. Most abisin.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Abdi Nasir Saman from Wajir Peace and Development Agency. I think you all know me. First and foremost, I just want to thank the participants. We invited you for this meeting because we know the value of the participants in this meeting. If you're here, you are either from Wajir Peace, a beneficiary of Wajir Peace program, or you're a beneficiary of ASDEF project on SASA, or from Wajir Community Radio. If you're not from those three, raise your hand. So we all agree we are from those. So thank you. Then the other thing is that you all know, as the residents of Wajir County, and also the resident or a citizen of Kenya, the challenges of good governance, the gaps, the weaknesses that we were facing in the past or in the last, since the independence as Northern Kenya resident. You know that, that's a fact. So with that fact, number one, we got devolution. Billions of shillings from 2013 to 2019. Was there a role that we played as a participant in advancing good governance? That is the number one challenge.
So wuxuu dhahay si maamul goboleedka ay u bilaawatay from 2013 oo inta aan ka helin ku soo Nairobi man aadi jirin oo gaari loo raaci jirin. The service is closer to the people. Hadda wixii dhan ba inta la keenay sidii loo keenay adiga as citizen ahaan maxaad ka qayb qaadatay oo taaka dhigi kartaa shacab ahaan maxaad ka ciyaartay amal goob ka aan ka ciyaartay.
That is the biggest challenge that we were facing as a citizen in Northern Kenya and as by large Kenya citizen, was the issue of bad governance. Number two, there was the issue of human rights violations. Since the Operation Leader Inchi, since Kenya has invaded, I can say that, I think so, Somalia, there were a lot of extrajudicial killings, disappearances, kidnappings that were happening. So that, is it true what I'm saying? It happened.
waxaa la dhahay waxaa nagu soo badbadatay dadkii oo iska dhumayaan dadkii oo la jirdilaayo oo ma aragta dadkii oo meelay ku maqan yihiin aan la garanaynin si ruux inta la soo dila hadda laga yuhuud la keenay ahaan oo wixii yeelana aan ka saynin soo markin ma ka warhaysin waxa soo dhacayo county ka dhacayo war kama haysin waxa waa musintiin marka.
The issues that the devil or the biggest challenge that are the citizens of Wajir or Kenya, because we are a border community, we don't know whether we belong to Kenya. When I go to Nairobi, I say we are borderless. I don't know where I'm coming from. I can join Somalia, I can join Ethiopia, I can join Kenya. And that is because of the marginalizations, the exclusions that were happening in the past 6 years. So number one, the issue of bad governance. What was Wajir Peace doing to address the gaps on good governance? Number two, the issue of human rights violations that were happening. What was Wajir Peace doing in addressing those violations that were happening? So those were the two main things that our program, the SASA program that you see, was addressing. And also the other aspect, very important one, the inclusion of women and youth in the governance process in Wajir County. That was the mandate and the core that we were trying to address in this program.
wuxuu dhahay naasir markan inta ka baxo oon aad Kenyada hoose inta ka imaatay dil wuxuu dhahay boundary maqalka saa intana Soomaaliya naga haysa intana Ethiopia naga haysa sometimes anaka waxaan galnaa identity crisis meel ka socono ma garanayna weeryan daylima hadda inta ka mid waxa la gobol aan haso mal dhaha. So women for Kikal Wajir Peace waxay ay ka qayb qaadanayso waxay ahayd dhalinyarada iyo haweenka inay doorgeliyaan oo keenan dadka ku soo xadaraan amal.
So under the three things that we were addressing, the issue of good governance, the issue of equality, and the issue of human rights, what we were doing on the governance, we were trying to include youth and women in the budget process, in the public participation aspect in the country. We were also to at least introduce them, give them a platform between them and the duty bearers. You are the right holder as a citizen. The governor, the senator, those with the resources, the county commissioner are the duty bearers. Do you understand the duty bearers and right holders? So what we are trying to do now, we have created a platform as Wajir Peace and Development Agency under the SASA program, a conversation between the duty bearers and the right holders, so that the right holders understand the rights in holding the governments or the duty bearers accountable. Were the duty bearers responsive now? That is the biggest question that we're also trying to address as an institution. Wajir Community Radio were doing the same on a different perspective, because you know, Wajir is 56,000 square kilometer, the coverage, and you understand donors, because resources are always scarce. It's not available always. Maybe what we are given is a small number. So that is what we are trying to address. What we have seen, and the biggest gap that we have seen in issues of governance in Wajir County, is the issue of now that inclusivity. Do the youth understand their role in budget, in issue of governance? That is now the aspect that we are working on. The second thing now, the issue of equality. Do women understand their role? How inclusive is it? What is that 30% that the Constitution says, but they just stick the checklist and it's not there? The other thing, the aspect of human rights, what we're doing also, we have created now a platform between the duty bearers. Now when I say the duty bearers are now the county commissioners under the human rights, Kenyan human rights, the authorities, the police, the security actors, and also the citizens of Wajir, so that Kargare, as a human rights defender, is able to ask questions that he thinks bedevils the Wajir County. So that is the three things that we are doing. And SASA project, I want to just tell you the name of that SASA is a Strengthened Agency for Social Accountability. So Wajir Peace was one of the partners in that program. Asanteni sana, naona Halima anasema time imeisha. Thank you. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
And ufali marko.
Nasir.
Suk.
Uko na haraka sana. Hai, Ushak.
Nasir wuxuu dhahay waxaan suubinaa budget participation. Budgetka marka la marinayo dadka oo dhan iskugu yeeray meeshan ICT hall si ay uga qayb qaataan. Waxaa kaloo suubiyaan, they give a platform to do. Waxaa kaloo suubiyaan fursad ay siiyaan dhalinyarada. Waxay isu keenaan duty bearers dadka xafiiska joogaan oo maamulka hayaan iyo rights holders idinka oo kale shacabka. Sifa intay isku imaadaan ay isla hadlaan waqti isla qaataan oo maarta accountability xisaab ala gashin xaqad u leedahay ninka marka xafiiska fadhiya inaad weydiiso wuxuu ku subinay xaqad u leedahay. Tan kale waxaa resource availability and resource mobilization suban inclusivity. Waxaa la dhahay two-third gender role is not met. Haweenka markii la shaqo gelinayo hatta baarlamaanka markii la joogo haweenka way yar yihiin. Waxaa arkaysaa 10 nin laba haween oo ku jirta. Office is not good. Equality markii la dhahay. Human rights defenders isu keenan, police isu keenan, like he mentioned qarqare oo human rights defenders fursad ay siiyaan waxay way isu wada keenan oo maarta way maalgeliyaan siday isku wada shaqeeyaan. Saasa u dhahay israntana waa xoojinta bulshada iyo xisaabtanka.
Nasir.
So the participants, I just want to say the participants are coming from the different segments of the community. We have the media in the house as beneficiaries of this program. We have human rights defenders, the non-human rights defenders in Wajir, Fatuma, Kargare, Abdirashid, all of them. The non-human rights defenders, we have the Council of Elders here, Muzey Abdi. We have also women membership, we have youth membership. So that is now the different segments of the community. Thank you.
Sasa anapiga sahihi Nasir akiwakilisha Wajir Peace and Development Agency. Sasa nawakaribisha Africa Social Development Focus, ASDEF. Wapi makofi ya Nasir? Hata yeye amekula kiapo. Anasema Wajir Africa Social Development Focus, ASDEF. Nafasi ni wako, tafadhali. Karibu sana.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody can see me. Nipande kwa, there's no podium here. But even if you don't see me, I hope you are hearing me. So I'll be mixing English and Somali. All right. First of all, I'm here on behalf of ASDEF. ASDEF is an abbreviation of African Social Development Focus. I'm standing in the capacity of executive director who is away. But I was the key contact person for the program that we have implemented with ForumCiv so far. So on behalf of ASDEF, I want to welcome ForumCiv, our stakeholders, partners, to Wajir. Sodoao. Is that okay? Sodoao? All right. Feel at home. This is a very peaceful county, by the way. And yeah, you can clap for me. Yeah, I'm actually a testimony because of the great work that these partners are doing. We want to express gratitude to ForumCiv, not just because of the generous funding, but because of, they've even gone ahead to hold our hands, literally, on how we are supposed to be implementing. I've been looking at the setup of this forum, and basically this is just an upgrade of what we usually do in the field there. These are the forums that we usually conduct with the leaders, with the members of the community, and we are hoping that us as the partners are not only learning, but we are getting it right so that when we go there, even as we go into the next phase of implementing our subsequent programs, we know what exactly to do. Okay.
And ninkan Michael la dhahaa hay'adda ASDEF ku socdaa wuxuu maanta u mathalaya ninkii asaga ka weynaa oo maqan soo magaciisu uu ku jooga meeshan wuxuu dhahay wuu salaamay wuu in salaamay alaaf wuxuu dhahay af saaxil iyo English af Soomaalina waan aqaanaa in kugu sheegi karaa waa dhageysanaysan af Soomaaligiisa wuxuu sheegaya wuxuu dhahay stakeholders ka dadka inta joogaan oo soo dhaweeye Wajir wuxuu dhahay waa magaalada amaankeeda aad u sareeyo wuuna u mahadcelinayaa asagana wuxuu dhahay wuu ku qanacsan yahay ma inta uu joogo amaanka inuu jiro alaaf wuxuu dhahay great work partners are doing hay'adahan kala shaqada isla suubanayaan u mahadcelinayaa wuxuu dhahay shaqadan waa shaqada aan soo wadno aan suubin jirnay meesha grassroots ka ground waxaan la suubin jirnay dhahay leaders dadka madaxda ah iyo community at large wixii aan banaanka aan ku suubin jirnay aan ku abaabuli jirnay ona hadana maanta cudumeynta aan keenahaynaa. That is it.
Before I even go into details of the program that we've implemented so far, I've been listening to our counterpart from Wajir Peace and Wajir Community Radio, and I've realized that whatever they are doing and whatever we are also doing, it is actually, we are reading from the same script. So what am I saying? I will even urge our colleague from Wajir Community Radio and Wajir Peace to actually emulate and acknowledge a collaboration, because I want to believe those who comes from the programming department, collaboration is actually the key thing. Let us collaborate, and I'm insisting on that because the previous program that we were doing, we were working with so many civil society organizations, and we could really see the hunger of the partners from different civil society organizations coming together and pulling actually from the same script. That is why, if you can read the title of the program that we were doing, it was actually on strengthening partnership between the civil society organizations. I had a sit down with the ForumCiv team, and I actually discussed with them the action plan the civil society organizations had actually come up with. And I'm hoping that the same energy we had towards the end of our previous program will still be there, even with other partners like Wajir Community Radio and Wajir Peace, so that we can collaborate and work together and realize the major goal of ForumCiv.
wuxuu dhahay Michael wuxuu dhahay shaqada aan qabani jiray sidii ASDEF iyo shaqada ay P sagajini iyo tii radio community waa isku mid u dhahay only that ninka soo dhinaciisa ku hagaajinay hadda wuxuu dhahay waxaan rabnaa inaan isku imaano aan partners aan noqono oo collaboration dad isla wadaaga maaragtay shaqada isla wada qaadaya oo isla jahan qaadaya ay noqdaan tan kale wuxuu dhahay programmada oo CSOs ka ila hagaajinayaan civil society organizations like we have our chair lady Fatuma here oo dadka CSOs ka mathalaysa wuxuu dhahay major goals wixna abaabulay waxa weeye oo hogaaminaya dant shacab inaan isku imaano aan isla jahan qaadno hal shaqo aan isla qaban sidii yani nin walba dhinac ka qaban lahay aan isku imaano sida ay ku fiican tahay sidaas.
All right, so on that note, I will even ask our donors ForumCiv to guide us through this collaboration platform with our counterpart, because at the end of the day, we are eating from the same pot, and it is only good if we can also, read from the same script. In terms of the program that we are currently doing, allow me to acknowledge that we started our engagement with ForumCiv in the year 2020. By then, it was under the Wajir program, where we were working with selected members of the community and the leaders. I want to be so grateful to our leaders because they were able to really collaborate with us so well, and through that we were able to achieve quite a number of achievements as far as that program is concerned. We were looking at creating a link or a collaboration between members of the community and the leaders, and from that time we were able to actually create a platform where members of the community, representative of the members of the community, which we call them community resource person, were able to have actually a platform where they could actually discuss issues that are affecting the community. And from that, I can remember very well, there was a group of members of the community from a place called Tula Tula. They raised issues with the relevant leaders, and they were able actually to achieve some sort of development.
Mike wuxuu dhahay wuxuu ku codsaday ForumCiv inay ma aragtay hay'adahan kale isu keenaan sidii collaboration ka aan dhahay guide and collaboration programs wuxuu dhahay engage waxay la bilaabeen CIV 2020 like Wajib Wetu program waxa la Wajib Wetu la dhahayaa jiray wuxuu appreciate garaynahay uu mahad celin u celinayaa madaxda leaderska dadka madaxda iyo the community dadka oo maartay meesha sita markaas bulshada ku nool deegaanka sita ku nool wuxuu dhahay in Tula Tula meeshan la dhahaya markii ay dadka madaxda oo ay la tashteen iyo community ay la hadleen development hersar ay gaareen soo wax qabadka markii bulshada isku imaanayo oo maartay gacmaha la isla wada wadaay uu sheega maartay in wax fiican la suubin karo kulli common individual different kii kala shakhsi ahna u hagaajini.
Just to conclude, currently or recently we concluded a SASA program, which in our case we call it strengthening partnership between the civil society organization, county government and citizens. So those are three aspects, those are the three key stakeholders that we were working with. Through this program, we were able to actually strengthen the working relationship between the civil society organization, because at the beginning we realized that the civil society organization network was not that strong, though it had actually been established, but it was not that effective. So we were able to actually work with them, strengthen their working relationship, and through that we engaged the members of the community to be able to understand how to address issues affecting them, specifically the human rights related cases or issues, which are very common. I think we'll be hearing from the members during the discussion, and also the governance issue in terms of public participation. We were able to enlighten the community to actually be aware on the specific time frame when they're supposed to turn up during any public participation forum. So from that, I think I'll stop there and welcome back to Wajir.
Michael, wuxuu dhahay
Asante sana. Bado hujamaliza dadi. Bado. Koda kidogo. Madam nataka kusema nini?
Michael wuxuu dhahay CSO-ga xoog ma laha. Kwa sababu dad oo hadda ma artale maal qabaan, mise resources qabaan, mise meesha ay ku aadan karaan maaho. Dad oo waxay gacantooda ay xiran tahay. Marka wuxuu dhahay waan isu keenaa CSO-ga, dadka madaxda, community-ga, sidii issues-ka oo waxa dhaca waxa waaye human rights issues, dadka la jirdilaya, dhibka dadka bini'aadanka loo geysta, iyo waxa waaye participation-ka markuu budget-ka jir dadka aan ka soo qayb galaynin, good governance sidii maamul wanaaga oo kala forums aan siinaa u dhahay. Waxaan siinaa maslaxa u subinaa u dhahay oo maaragtay ay isku wadaagi karaan hawsha sidii isku qaban kara camal.
Nataka ukule kiapo. Haya, wakati ni wako. Musikuwa wachoyo na makofi tafadhali. Asante sana. Hiyo ni ya pesa. Hiyo ni ya pesa hiyo. Asante sana, naomba uchukue nafasi yako ya kiti. Wacha sasa ni wakaribisha wapi makofi. Sasa ni wakati wa our donors. Shirika la ForumCiv. Naomba sasa akuje hapo mbele Winfred Mkadha, madam wetu, the beautiful lady in the house. Karibu sana. Wapi makofi yake? Welcome.
Soba wa Nexen. Nilikuwa namwambia nikumbushe. All protocols observed. Ningetaka kuwasalimia nyote. Tumefurahi sana kama shirika la ForumCiv kuungana nanyi asubuhi ya leo. Kwa sababu tumekuwa tukikuja hapa Wajir na tujai kuja tukapatana na community. Kwa hivyo today we are very happy to have come and even meet the community. Above everyone else, the community is the most important person ambao sisi kama ForumCiv tunafanya kazi nao, na tunawashukuru sana kwa kupata nafasi ya kuja na kuungana na sisi katika hii awamu ya kujumuika na kusikika mtaani wa Wajir. Na kabla ya nianze niseme machache, ningetaka kufikisha salamu za wa regional manager ambaye ni Jackson Obare. Hakuweza kuwa na sisi lakini ametembea hapa mwezi June, na akasema tukifika Wajir tuwasalimie sana. Hakuweza kwa sababu hayuko hapa kwa sasa, hayuko Kenya kwa sasa, lakini natumai mmezipokea salamu zake. Pia kwa mkubwa wetu wa mradi wa wajibu wetu ambayo ni Chelimo Njoroge, pia kafikisha salamu zake kwa watu wa Wajir. Pia angetaka kukua na sisi lakini hakuweza. Mmepokea salamu zake? Yes. So thank you so much. I want to thank our partners ambao ni Wajir Community Radio, Wajir Peace and Development Agency, and ASDEF ambao ni African Social Development Focus. They have been our key people ambao tunafanya kazi na wao hapa Wajir. Tuko na miradi mbili. Na ForumCiv ni shirika la ambalo si la kiserikali, ni an NGO ambayo inafanya kazi na communities. Tuna believe ya kwamba kila mtu kwa jamii ako na power. Power ni nguvu. Nguvu. Sijui power na Kisomali? Hok. Iyo. Yeah. Award. Award.
It's one of the same.
Kila mtu kwa hii jamii ako na hiyo award ya ku make change. Kila mtu mahali ambapo umewekwa hapo na Mwenyezi Mungu, acha niseme na Mwenyezi Mungu, uko na mahali, uko hapo kwa sababu unaweza kuwa na hiyo award ya ku make change. Sawa sawa. So
usinifanyie nyingi. You going to be
tough. Sorry.
Kwa sababu Kisomali ndio ni ngumu. And gabadhan waxaa la Wilfred Makala, if I'm not wrong.
Mkadha.
Nilikuwa nasikia Makala. Wilfred waxaa lahaa nakaada waa in salaantay salaan kadib waa in mahadcelisay waxay dhahday community dad oo bulsho intan oo dhan isku imaada meel hadda ka hor may la kulmin waxay dhahday ninka oo meeshooda u weyn waxaa la dhahaa Jackson Obare gabadhan waxay dhahday Chelimo Njoroge Jackson Obare wadankuu ka maqan yahay banaanku jira laakiin tan Chelimo waxay dhahday way jeclaan lahayd inay inta joogto maadaama ay ka maqan tahay xafladan maanta salaantooda ka gudba salaanay soo daraan waxay rabtaa inay ka gudubtiin waxay kale mahad u celinaysaa the donor and the partners sidii ASDEF Wajir Peace iyo Radio Community maradi labay qabaan mid oo waxa NGOs mid kale waxay dhahday community waxay leedahay waxay dhahday awood ay leeyihiin xog ay leeyihiin ay ku keeni karaan isbedel meesha ay joogaan.
Asante. Na tuko na programs mbili ambazo zimewakilishwa leo na partners wetu. Tuko na mradi wa kwanza ambao ni wajibu wetu Jumuika Sikika ambao Wajir Community Radio wanafanya kazi kwa hiyo mradi ambao unaitwa wajibu wetu Jumuika Sikika. Ndio hilo jina Jumuika Sikika Mtaani ikatokea hapo kwa wajibu wetu Jumuika Sikika. Alafu tuko na mradi wa pili ambao ni sasa ambao ni Strengthen Agency for Social Accountability ambao tunafanya kazi na ASDEF na Wajir Peace and Development Agency. Na huo mradi awamu ya kwanza imeisha na sasa tunajitayarisha kuanzisha awamu ya pili. Na tunashukuru sana our partners wetu kwa kuwa tegemeo sana kwa jamii na kwa katika partnership yetu wamekuwa very reliable and transparent in their work with us.
Waxay dhahday laba qorshe ay wataan maraadi laba qodob ay wataan mid waxa la dhahay Jumuika Sikika waa midkan hadda ay hayaan oo Radio Community oo haya mashruuca sayta true Radio Community soo maraan dadka raadiyaha dhageystaan kulay way maqlaan oo malaya mid kalena waxa way sasa oo hadda ASDEF ay hagaajinaysa strengthening ka sayta waaya the first one way relapse garaysa kii hor uu ka dhamaaday mid kale hadda ay sugu hayaan oo ma aragtay which is in the pipeline oo soo socdo marka waxay dhahday waxaan mahad ugu celinaynaa partnerska dadkan ay la shaqeeyaan waa dad waxay dhahday ku dayashan mudan oo daacad oo waxa ay suubinayaan hawsha ay suubinayaan binaanka ay taalo ma aragtay nina aan la weydiinaynin.
So nikiangalia katika mada yetu ya leo governance and accountability in Northern Kenya, nijaribu ile jina lakini sijui la hisabtang mamuladha goboladha wa kuya Kenya. So governance and kwa nini tuongelee mambo za governance and accountability? Ni kwa sababu ukiangalia historia najua Abdinasir ameweza kuongea hapa before. He has said that in Northern Kenya tumetoka mbali. Si ni ukweli? Tumetoka mbali. As Northern Kenya, we have been faced with marginalization. We have faced scarcity of resources. We've had cases of political instability, cases of bad governance. Lakini the beauty of it is mahali ambapo tuko leo, si mahali tulikuwa jana, tunasonga. Si ni ukweli? We have moved in issues of governance. Na kwa sababu tuko hapa ndio sisi ndio the power, tuko na power ya make change. We discuss issues of governance today because we believe that sisi ambao tuko hapa we can determine the future of our generations. Wale watoto ambao wako nyuma yetu, sisi ambao tuko leo, we can determine their future. The development that we see today, the development ambayo tunapursue leo, ita affect watoto wetu ambao wanakuja.
Waxay dhahday maadada oo maanta mashruuc intaan u joogno waxa waaye governance and accountability waxa lagu wadaa la xisaabtanka maamulada gobolada waqooyiga. Abdinasir wuxuu dhahday meesha anaka aan joogno waxaana dad oo marginalized oo midabta koor ahaan dad oo meel ku xiran oo maar aan la aqoonsaneen sidoo dhahay oo kale marka Wajir ka tagno Kenya laakiin ma marka la Wajir we are not part of Kenya and ayna amal tan kale resource khayraadka oo yar oo nin walba uu gaareenin saa rabtaan ma arag aad ogo oon bixignin mid kale bad governance maamul xumada oo wadanka ka jirta soo Cabdinaasir sheegay ay falcelinaysay hadda waxa la sidii hormanihin sidii zamaan 1963 iyo 1980s aan sidii hadda devolution ku bilaabmeen at least waan soo durqo manihin waan durqo waxyaalo badan isbeddelay sidii hore ma aha hadda marginalized ma dhigi karno we are not marginalized ma dhigi karno anaka istakoorayna sababta county waxa soo gashaa financial waxa soo gashaa 11 billion soo gashaa soo hadda takoorta ada istakoore moogal uma takoorin marka waxay raad waan soconay sidii hore hadda manihin power to change dadka bulshada ayay gacantooda ku jirtaa ma aragtay awood ay wax ay ku bedeli lahaayeen kosa maanta cod leed hadaa meesha wax lagu subin rabo oo war la qodkan waxa dhigi kartaa wartan ma rabno istaalba ma haysanay war maxaan geelaynaa codkaas qabtaa aad ku bedeli kartaa so we are the change makers idinkoo the community has the power awood hadaa faad leediin aad isbedel ku subin kartiin marka waxay dhahay future generation anaka me dadka kale oo naga dambeeyo ilmahaynan oo kale anaka way wixii oo maartay future koodi u qayb qaadan lahayn oo isbedel weyn muujin lahayn.
So kwa sasa tuko na changamoto nyingi kama jamii na katika uongozi ambao tuna experience in our day to day lives. Tumeona a lot of corruption. Ni ukweli? Tumeona a lot of corruption, tumeona a lot of political manipulation, tumeona poor service delivery, tumeona bad governance systems. Na kwa hivyo, as I asked you, and as initially we had talked about, sisi, as the people in the community, we can define the future that we want to see. Na kwa hivyo sisi kama ForumCiv, tunafanya kazi na mashirika ya ayo matatu and other civil society organizations in other places, kwa sababu tuna believe they can be the bridge. Wanaweza kuwa wao ndio wanafikia serikali na wanafikia wananchi. They are in between. They can help us to advocate for the change that we want. They can empower us to know our rights. Kwa sababu sisi kama ForumCiv, we believe in a right-based approach. Right-based approach ni ile approach ambayo sisi kama jamii, we believe we have the solutions to the challenges that we have. So tukifanya kazi nao mashirika ni ya kutusaidia come up with solutions. How do we come up with solutions? By reaching out to the people in power and helping them to help us bridge that gap that we want for the changes that we want to see in our communities. Na kwa tunafanya hiyo kwa miradi tofauti. This is one of them ambao tunafanya dialogue forums. We support dialogue forums. Tunafanya pia na watu ambao wanaitwa wasanii. Meona wale watu ambao walikuwa wanaimba hapa maita Adanto group. Tunafanya kazi pia na wasanii kwa sababu pia wale wasanii wamepewa kipawa ambayo wanaweza tumia kwa jamii kuleta mabadiliko mahali ambapo wako. So kuna miradi kama hiyo kwa vijana ambao wako hapa. Mkisikia ForumCiv iko na mradi wa wasanii, pia unaweza jiandikisha, unaweza apply kwa sababu unaweza tumia kipawa ambacho umepewa ndio uweze kukua pia na more power within your community.
Wilfred waxay dhaad waxaan meel u gaar la'ana waxa way corruption musuqmaasuqyo bate oo adigana waxa soo ogoleen oo ninka walaalkan wax baad u ogoleen oo ma aragtay sidii wax la reebo loo shaqaynaynin bad governance maamul xumo wadanka ka jirta waxay dhaad we advocate for change sidii wax aan ku suubin lahayn ma aragtay hoosh ku hergal lahayd aan u daban qaadayna idhaadeen tan kalena waxay dhahday right based approach aan suubinayna sidii ma aragtay aan isku la shaqayn lahayn oo the bridge the gap duleelaha farad badan aan qabno sida aan u fil lahayn amal tan kalena waxay dhahday waxaan ku shaqaynaa badi waxay dhahday dialogue wada hadal dadka la wada fadhiista oo la wada hadla oo meesha ma aragtay aan iskala shaqayn kara aragna tan kale waxaan la shaqaynaa dad wasani kuwan hadda dhantanta ku ciyaaray ma aragtay kuwaas oo kala qaban wadamahoodii kuwaas ay xoojiyaan kuwaas ay maalgeliyaan sidii awasista xaliimkaahiya waxay dhahday kuwa poets qabnaa oo gabayga maartay ay dadka ma ay wax u sheegi lahayn af Soomaali ahaan looga dhiba sidii ay alafu bulshada ku wacyigelinayaan soo dadkaas oo kale ma igliya xaq waxay u leeyihiin inay ma aragtay ay la shaqeeyaan saas camal.
So even as we sit down today and participate in this dialogue, our call for action kama viongozi ni we need have a commitment to commit ourselves. Kwa hiyo kibao kuna commitment board to commit ourselves like community and even as leaders that we can hold our leaders to the highest standards possible. We can empower our communities to be part of the solution that to the challenges that we face each day. And I urge each one of us to be part of that change, to create a future for our generations, and to ensure that the Northern Kenya that we want to see in future is transparent, accountable, and responsive to the needs of everyone. Na kwa hayo, ningetaka kuwashukuru sana for your time and for this opportunity and for partnering with ForumCiv in this journey. We look forward to having a brighter future together for our country and for our generations to come. Thank you so much. So doad.
Asante sana. Wapi makofi? Kitu kimoja, msijibebe kama the third class citizen ama second class citizen. Yani mjibebe kama nyinyi ni wa Kenya. Unajua kila wakati. Asante sana. Wapi makofi ya dada? Asante sana. Sisi watu wa Northeastern kila wakati huwa sisi tunajibeba kama the second class citizen. Oh, we are marginalized. Nini? Sisi ndio tunaweza jipeleka kwa sababu sasa tumeleta ile serikali imeweza kufika chini. Services imefika chini. Ni sisi na viongozi wetu sasa waweze kutupeleka sehemu ambayo sisi tunataka. Si ndivyo? Lakini ya kwanza mwananchi lazima ajue haki yake. Wapi Danto Group? Danto Group sasa indo the second entertainment. Vile madam amesema watu kama hao wanaangaliwa sana. Si ndivyo? Information ukitaka kupitisha waweze kuelimisha wananchi, basi tunatumia wasanii waweze basi kuelimisha wananchi kuhusiana na jambo fulani. Haya Danto Group DJ. Twende.
سؤالي بدون شوي ما واسيبي صبحني ما عندي من وسؤاله كل شيء الله سيبي كرا تعملني ما الله سألكم القصاك يا سؤالك وبحلا أنصاري حبيبها تاهي سبح مقا الله سدني وقلتاي سبح مقا الله سوات سنتاي سبح مقا الله سدني وقلتاي سبح مقا الله سوات سنتاي سيدا شيخ سليان كوسيا أرنا صدري وقلبي يبدع صورة صنبا بابا شركات كثيرة سمعة به دلقات كوسيفي سنبو سيدا شيخ سليان كوسيا أرنا صدري وقلبي يبدع صورة لما بابا شركات كثيرة سوچل عليها ربي كوبو سركاي بريا سما أدبو سديري دينغركار سيمابو دايا رقبانا سيني أحمد سما ورو من سري المابو سوچل عليها ربي كوبو سركاي بريا سما أدبو سديري دينغركار سيمابو دايا رقبانا سيني أحمد سما ورو من سري المابو وبحلا أنصاري طبيبها تاهي سدح مقا الله سدني وقبتاي سدح مقا الله سوات سنتاي سدح مقا الله سدني وقبتاي سدح مقا الله سوات سنتاي سدح مقا الله سدني وقبتاي سدح مقا سبح مقا الله سدني وقلتاي سبح مقا الله سوات أحمد حاشي أحمد أحمد حاشي أحمد أحمد حاشي أحمد أحمد حاشي أحمد أحمد حاشي أحمد
صعب كاوي يا إسقاري حتى يقول بالله وانا يسمعها ايه حتى يقول بالله وانا يسمعها قفل المحاضرة هو واجب كينوي سمع واجب انا قصر سمع واجب كينوي هنا واحد بدل الدولة سمع وديار حتى وحنقلينا tunaingia moja kwa moja program nyingine ya majadiliano panel of discussion governance and accountability in Northern Kenya. Moderator sio mwingine Mr. Ali Muhammad wa ujeeda. Waxaa kaloo meesha ku jira Ali Muhammad asigoo maaragtay matalayo anawakilisha Kenya National Human Rights, Kenya National Commission of Human Rights. Waxaa meesha ku jira chairperson civil society Wajir Fatuma. Ada Fatuma, all makofi kwa hiyo panel. Fatuma Yusuf. Waxaa kaloo youth representative Ada Nur. Wapi makofi Ada Nur. Bakhilati, nyinyi wote ni wachoyo. Makofi bwana. Ala, sio mchoyo. Madam Fatuma, kutoka pale amekuja hivi, tafadhali. Mr. Adan ndio huyo. Mwalimu. Mike, tafadhali. Bila kusahau tafadhali uweze ukapost ukipiga picha, wakati unapiga sahihi huko pia ukichukua tafadhali kwenye social media, kwenye Twitter handle hashtag utasema share as much as you can, hashtag Jumuika Sikika Wajir. Naweza ukapost pale, tafadhali sana. Wacha sasa tuwakaribisha wa panel na kwa ni discussion. Tafadhali nyinyi pia mkue ni watu ambaye lively. Si hivyo bwana? Msinyamaze tu. Si mlikula samosa tamu asubuhi. Iko ingine pia. Sawa? Discussion. Dad furfuro noqdo oo maartay waxa la weydiiyo waxa laga hadlay. Dad furfurno maartay wada sheekaysiga hal noqdo. Sida telefoonada ula sheekaysataan haddana live la sheekaystaba. So saaswa aad uma sintin. Mike. Check.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. We will begin our panel discussion, and the MC has introduced the panel, but once more I'll introduce them by their designation. On my extreme left is Adan. Adan Nur is a youth representative. Adan, you can wave to the participants and the stakeholders. And we have Honorable Fatuma. She is the chairperson of civil society organization and a firebrand human rights entity, and we are very happy to have her. Moshima, you can say hi. Then we also joined by Ali. Ali Mohammed is a representative from the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. He's a very visible rights defender and a representative of the commission, and he'll speak to us about the ideal of the constitution and all that. So thank you so much for joining us. So we will take two approaches. The first approach is largely I'm going to have a discussion with my panel, and this is, we still, Ali, you still trying to set up? Are we okay? We okay, Ali? The MC, you are fine?
Yes.
Okay. So first I'm going to have a discussion with this gentleman, but I'm also going to have a discussion with the people in the room. So I'll also pass the mic once in a while for this discussion. And then my sister on my right here is going to do translations. I don't know how often these translations are going to happen. We're going to be very summative in terms of the translations, because we just have an hour to cover quite a bit of ground. So that's what we are going to do. So my name is Ahmed Kafi. I'm going to be the one moderating this conversation. Welcome this morning. Thank you. And I'll start immediately this conversation with my friend on the immediate left, Ali, to speak to us about the ideal of the constitutional ideal of governance, accountability, and participation vis-a-vis the actual realities that we find ourselves in our current context in the North. Karibu sana, Ali.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ali Mahmoud Adan. I'm from Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, Wajir Regional Office. The commission is an independent commission, independent national human rights institution established under Article 59, operationalized through KNCR Act 2011. The commission deals with protection and promotion of human rights in summary. And Wajir has got the regional office for Northern Kenya, and it has offices in Garissa, it has offices in Siolo, it has an office in Mombasa, Kitale, Nyahururu, Kisumu, and Kitale, and then the main office is in Nairobi as the headquarter. So, as Ahmed, the moderator, has said, we'll have a discussion about human rights and the nexus between the interconnection between human rights and governance. And I'll first say that our motto is haki kwa wote, kila wakati. So, kwanza nitasema haki kwa wote, haki kwa wote,
kila wakati,
kila wakati, haki kwa wote, kila wakati, haki kwa wote. So the commission, under its protection and promotion of human rights, implements its activities on various ways. And one of its main role is receiving complaints or processing complaints. And we also do public sensitization. We also do advisories to the government on various policies and bills. Carry research on specific thematic areas that are concerned at that time, or as so wish for specific purposes. And based on these, it interacts with Kenyans and also with various agencies. We have worked with various agencies and departments or partners, and part of them, I think some of the human rights defenders, we have trained them, we have worked with them on various issues, are also here, and I know they have done a good role in their day-to-day activity, and some of them have been recognized at various aspects at the county level and national level. So that said and done, I think I'll just now move to the governance and human rights. I think it is the aspiration of everybody to have essentials of human rights, to have a government that is based on essentials of human rights. That is equality, that is freedom, democracy, social justice, and the rule of law. And among these values, the underlining things that underline the Constitution are democracy. And democracy is among the human rights aspect. There's public participation for every aspect or every decision that the government takes, that any decision that it has impact on you, there must be some sort of public participation. Whatever we do must have some element of, must have an element of human dignity, equity, and then there must be a non-discrimination and inclusion of the marginalized group in such things. As you're all aware, the longest chapter in the Constitution is Bill of Rights, and it outlines various rights that the individual can enjoy within the government, within the country, and either citizens or even non-citizens, because the migrants also have rights. So all these enables individuals to get the environment that they can enjoy their freedom, they can enjoy their human rights. Because the duty bearers, as a right holders, there's interlink between the duty bearers and the right holders, and what governs them is the Constitution. So as a result of this, then one may ask himself or herself or themselves about what is good governance. And maybe I can get from somebody, from the public. What is good governance? What do you think? What comes to your mind when you hear about good governance?
Before actually we move to the public, you well illustrated the ideal situation.
Yes.
And based on your participation, public complaints, petitions the commission has received, what is your review on the current circumstances in the north as regards to the issue of good governance, the issue of participation, public participation, the issue of equality and equity? What is your current review based on the public documents that you access?
Thank you. I think at least we have improved. There is some sort of improvement. Everybody can acknowledge that. But still we have so much to do. And in terms, when we come to public participation, oftentimes we were told that by the members of the public that some of the public participation conducted are just for procedure purposes. They don't really impact on a lot of things. It's just like it's a requirement, and then people conduct public participation because it's one of the requirements, and that is, it's more of compliance than meeting this desired obligation.
Thank you. Hold at that point. So we'll give our sister a minute to wrap up everything our brother said, then we'll move to the next question. Thank you, Ali.
And our brother Ali from Kenya Human Rights Commission, and wuxuu ka dhawaajiyay xafiiskoodii waxay ay qabtaan waxa waay waa xafiis madax banaan ah, waa independent, waxaana la keenay 2011. waxaa kaloo dhahay mashruucaha ay subiyaan waxa ay protect dadka ay difaacayaan, difaac yani human jirdilka iyo suuqa loo geysto bilaadanka ayay ka hortagaan. xafiiso waxay ka qabaan Gaarisa, ka qabaan Mombasa, ka qabaan Wajir, ka qabaan Kisumu, ka qabaan Kitale, ka qabaan Nairobi, ka qabaan. waxa hogaaminaya oo marka mashruuc qanaysa mooto maxaa qabana oo kala oo tagsanaysa waxa waaye haki kwa wata inay dadka oo dhan ay u sameeyeen yihiin ay nin walbana xaq u leeyahay. activities roolka ay qabtaan maxay receiving complaints ada hadda maanta dib ay qabto oo police ay wax ay ka qaban waayeen xaq u leedahay xafiiskooda inaad tagtay oo aad gudbsatay dhibaatada ay qabta. public waxay wacyigeliyaan public dadka ay wacyigeliyaan, research ay subiyaan, trainings way subiyaan. dhowr jeer hatta dadkan CSOska iyo dadkan hadda maanta inta soo joogna training badan oo lagu guuleystay ay qabteen goobjoog u ahaan. tan kale waxa waaye equality, dadkii oo la kala soocaynin, public participation si hadda aan sana wacyigelin ay subinayaan, element of human dignity. tan kale waxa inclusion of marginalized group, dad waxaa jira oo takoor ah oo wadanka isla degan oo laga badan dadka laga tir badan camal, dadkaas aad u tixgeliyaan immigrants, dadka oo kala qaxootiga oo hata kun Ethiopianska ima aragtay markii loo xadgudbay oo kala waxay seen environment of to enjoy freedom, yani cariir ma geliyaan dadka way u doodaan badadood. markan my brother Ahmed wuxuu weydiiyay review in the north maxay oo kala wixii ay subinayeen wixii ay ku guuleysteen most of the time maxaa way oo dhihi karaan maanta waxaan subinay heeran ka gaarnay. waxay dhaheen wixii aan improve garaynana way jirtaa, wax oo isbedel badan aan ku subinana way jirtaa, wax noo dhiman oo qaban rabnona way jirtay dhaheen. si public participation dadka la wacyigelinay heer dheer ay ka gaareen.
Thank you. Thank you. So to our next question, and this question I'm going to ask the Honorable Fatuma. She has two hats. The first hat is she's the chairperson of civil society organizations, but more importantly, she also represents special group, that is persons with disability. So Mheshimiwa Fatuma, the first question to you, and it's a twin question, is what is the view of the team you lead in the civil society organization in regards to the issues of governance, access, accountability, now that you guys are the frontiers in terms of holding the duty bearers responsible on behalf of the people? That is the first part of your question. But secondly, of the subsect group you represent, what is the feeling of persons with disability in terms of insurance of access and equality? And this access is not just it's not just for services; it's even physical. What is the status of even offices? Can these offices be accessed? Basics for children in schools and for officers. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fatuma Yusuf, the chairperson, Wajir County Civil Society, the spokesperson for persons with disability in the Wajir, a mother, a resident, born, bred, and educated in Wajir. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Almighty Allah for make sure that we are safe, sound, and healthy to participate in this forum. I want to appreciate my colleague HRDs. HRDs, viva! HRD, viva! Thank you very much. Actually, our slogan is completely different. For the civil society, we have vibrant women. With your permission, I want the HRDs of this hall, with all their respect, please stand up and say viva to HRD women and men of this forum, please stand up.
Even our president is ready to stand up. Okay.
Yeah, also, these are the honorable members. Thank you very much. Sit down. These are the honorable ladies and gentlemen who are driving the vehicle. I'm just a passenger as the chairperson. I take orders from them. I'm not taking this for granted. We work the cycle. We work 24 hours for access to services. Governance issue, we have a problem, a very big one. And everyone, they know that the governance we have for Wajir is that we are progressing through the support of the CSOs. The support of the CSOs, I know we have institutions who are doing the governance program. We want to appreciate them. But again, access to information is the biggest challenge we are facing, and I think that one they can attest. I'm not disputing, I think anyone is not disputing that. We are trying our best. Remember, we were somewhere back then in 1963, still we were in marginalized. That one, we are telling ForumCiv team, welcome to Northern Kenya. And when you're going back, please say hi to the people of Kenya. That's our slogan. And we are saying actually that we are trying our best. We are not actually trying to just cry. We are not here to cry. We are here to represent our community and to voice our concern. We have a very strong members of the society, civil society, and at least we are progressing to the issue of governance. Though we always, when something is new, and the Somali community, we are doing everything localization or clan-based thing, that's going to challenge we are facing. If I come to the second question of disability. Disability viva. Disability, oh yeah. Actually, in disability, we are saying, we are using a slogan saying, leaving no one behind. Tuseme hivyo?
Leaving no one behind.
Tunasema aje?
Leaving no one behind.
Yeah, we are using that slogan to make sure that persons with disability in our community, they are well known, how they are discriminated, how still as we speak today, we have children who are hidden in the houses. So we are saying leaving no one behind in any issue of advocacy or governance in the disability. And I want to tell the panel, the community, the podium here, that the stakeholders, that the disability, first we need to understand, before we go to governance, who is this person called disabled? Huh? Somebody will say Fatuma is disabled. We are carrying the name, even the Somali name with us. You know, sometimes we are born with a disability, and sometimes, you know, the disability comes in two ways. Disability comes by birth, and so sometimes it can, you know, you acquire. Me, myself, I acquired disability. I was not born with disability. So some cases you can get an accident, your leg can be amputated. You can get another disease, you can lose your hearing impairment. Well, that's why we have persons with hearing impairment. You can have maybe a conflict, and actually I want to say that when conflict arises, people don't report the aftermath of persons who become disabled through that conflict, but they only report the death. And sometimes you lose your eyesight, and that's why we have people with visual impaired. We have the people with albinism, we have the dwarf, we have the intersex, the intersex. The people who have the intersex, right?
Yes.
Yes, the intersex. Of course, I have to be very careful with the wording I'm using. So disability in governance, we have the issue of understanding. First, we need to understand disability and governance. And the first thing is actually the barriers. The barriers to inclusion in governance. The first barrier we have in the issue of, first thing is, do we know somebody by the name disability? And I have, from the previous speakers, I never had somebody mention disability. From the old speakers, from the prayers, all those through, even I never had somebody say, let's pray for the person with disability in the community. So that one, a complete exclusion. And what we say is, if a person with disability is not there in the forum, automatically we have no one to speak for us. But we have gone, we came from somewhere. Then we have the challenge of barriers, the physical barriers. If somebody, an visually impaired person, even the sign, today coming to this hall, not even somewhere far, we don't have any sign to show that this hall, the ForumCiv is holding the hall in this place. What about somebody who is visual hearing impaired? The white cane user. I don't know how they're going to be. That's a physical communication. I'm happy today we have the sign language interpreters today, but I think it's an opportunity we have. And there's some things we have an opportunity for, we request, but there's something we have a right for. See, the other challenge issue we have, the attitudinal barrier. In our Somali community, attitude is something that is living with us. I don't know which time we're going to live it. That today, if you see me with my colleague, who's maybe crawling, the people will going to be sympathetic instead of being empathetic with us. So that's an issue with the community. They will tell you, oh, poor. They will brand you as a poor person who cannot defend or represent him or herself, or can be represented the community they came from. Remember, when I was in the assembly, I think the Committee on Disability was the best in that house in 2013, 2017. I used to pick up a coffee. Then the issue of policy implementation gaps. We have the Article 54.2 of the Constitution is very clear that any appointment or elective position, 5% should go to persons with disability. But unfortunately, are we really practicing? My anticipation was 2013, 2017, we're going to be having one CEC and one chief officer. 2017, 2020, I was expecting one CEC maybe and 2 to 3 chief officers. That means progressively we're improving. But unfortunately, we're going a reverse gear. And today, 2022, today, I don't know, till now we have in the county assembly, I don't know in the county executive if you have a chief officer with a disability. That's a challenge we are facing. So instead of progressing, we are retrogressing, right? So we are not respecting the Constitution of Kenya. And remember, in the Disability Act, number 14 of 2003, is advocate for fairness, justice, non-discrimination to persons with disability in the society. And now I want to go to the issue of the role of governance in addressing disability issues. And the first thing is actually inclusive decision making. There's nothing for me, there's nothing for us without us. That's what we say. If there's nothing for the disability clan, by the way, we belong to a small clan called Disability in Wajir. Our clan is very small in number. We don't belong to Ogaden, we don't belong to the Godia, we don't belong to Jejuran. We belong to a small clan called the smallest in the society called the Disability Clan. And that one is actually a negligible number. We are represented, we are appreciated in the election time. But the reality, when the election is over, we actually ignored. And we are thinking, can we also have our voices, which we are going to make sure. Ensure representation, as I mentioned, both the executive bodies, the forums, the committees. But today we are also celebrating. Some years back, 2013, we had the difficulty that, what is the need of having a person with disability in a committee? What value will he or she add to the society? But today, there's nothing for us without us. In that committee, if there's no person with disability, that committee has discriminated, and we are trying to fight it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I think you make a very excellent point about one of the key things is attitudinal issues that looks at persons with disabilities as not able. Your presence and your excellent presentation should be a big challenge for that. Thank you so much. So we will allow our sister to make an inference of a snap of what you said, and then we'll proceed. And then I'll give you an opportunity to speak to another issue, because you have asked the question of the numbers or whether there's actual people with disability in the executive.
Yes.
There's a pertinent question of who is even a person with a disability now. Yes. With everybody claiming to be disabled and all that questions is something that we're going to have a conversation about. Karibu sana, Mwalimu.
Asante. Walaashan Faadimo waxay dhahday waxaa horta u mahadceliyay my brother Ahmed waa chairperson waa hogaamiyaha CSO waan xayna hogaamiyaysaa people living with disability sida maxay people with disability fear maya
persons with disability
living kala diida barashan moot ana kan aska baranaa markan what is the view from where you are markan waxa la dhahay accountability حسابيا هدي لا دها access يعني حضرت أكل هذا document هذا أكل سي budget أنا كي أردينا بما أردت أن حق لهن مريالها قارقتها تأينا فيرسو صدقت وعريامها محدو ملايس equality وحاوي سنان مركي شقالة ده مركي لا ده وحلا رصاصة لك القبسنا ده كان بدو على تكورة sidii iskuulka xafiisaha oo kale xafiisa waxaa arkaysa oo kale my sister salaada hadday rabto inay aado istaasay qaban xafiisa rams ma qaban soo seerata ruuxan inuu xafiiskaas kor inuu aado uu wax uu ku soo maartay hool uu ku soo dhamaysto so most of the times waxaa la arkaa dadkan inay ma aragtay la takooraya camal tan kalena waxay u mahad celisay gabdhaha iyo ragga meeshan joogaan oo maxaa waaye vibrant maxaa laha human rights defenders dadka xaq u doodo dad baa in kula jira meeshan ita problem with governance through support of CSOs waxay dhahday access to information is a problem sidii hadda aan sheegay yani informationka dhibuu ku yahay sida ay ku heli karaan dadkan ita and trying our best to present the community through the governance people with disability ma ahayd madam living ma ka bixinaa hala haw slogan-kooda waxaa waaye living no one behind yani inay ruux laga tegin midab takoor ma jira takoor ma jira meeshaad ka imaado dadkan waa hal family wax la kala qaadayo ma jirto mise waad ku jeclaani mise waad ku nici mise waa la isla wada qaada mise waa dhigi yani go-aanka ay gaarayna taas hal qabsigooda way slogan waxay hal qabsi mid kale waxay discriminated dadka aada loo takoora camal oo la iskaga bixiyaa bulshada dhexdeeda aniga idinka oo kale hadda cunug curyaan hadda cudi joogo hataa laga yaabo inuu iskuul la geynin gacan bidixas maxaa waaye takoori gacan bidixan ku doo isku mid abay waxa la kala qaadayo ma jirto alaafa dadkan ma walaashay salaa waxa xanuunka loo jeer laba nooc ku imaada midna waad kula dhalani even immediately from conception xanuunkaas oo kula bilaabana waad ku dhalani midda kale waxa ay akaayo waa wax aad helayso mise gaariga kula gadoomi mise waxa jadaca kugu dhici mise polio arbad lagu dara ku halaabi soo markid mise yiqliga kugu dhidhayaha ku tiri badi binaanka laga qaada alafu wixii asoo saasay saaba ma helaysid naruuro ma helaysid isaa lagu magaynay sidii aad kugu bilaabay ilaa ka weynaad saasata kor u ahaani iyo gacan bidixeeskaba markan waxaa conflict reports data markii hataa electionka uu jiro dadku ay ku shaqaysanayaan hataa midka curyaanka lagama tagayo gaariga lagu qalab iskala lagu qalab meesha lagu geenay immediate ruuxu soo galana meeshaada ku soo celin hadana aday gaari gacankaada so wili takoor ku jira barriers challenges oo dhibku weyn aqayadaha oo la kulmaan dadkan maxaa way amal waxay dhahday inclusion shaqada markay jirta markii iyada baarlamaanka ay joogtay baarlamaanka u fiican uu ahay qasaa iyada meel weyn ka haysatay way u abaabuli jirtay dadka curyamaha way u doodi jirtay qaybli waxay ka ciyaari jireen maadaama iyada ay meesha ku jireen meeshina waaba la iskiil maamaan u malaynay marka waxay dhahday guriga maanta aan joogno at least hadda waxaan arkaynaa maxalada fiican dadka dhagolaha ruuxa meesha u fadhiya laba ruux meesha u fadhiya u translate gareynaysa laakiin uma leeyahay fursad ruux oo indhool inta la keen maanta curyaan oo ruux kale uu tafsiiro waxay u madcelis waxay dhahday tii hore ee laba hayna maadaama hadda tan la helay tan kale waan gaaraynaa attitude-ku waxa way dadka curyaama adoo curyaan hatta ruux curyaan hadduu kula socdo dadka way ku yasaayaanba hadda meel u darto hal dadka iskuulka oo kale hadda dhad macalin ruux hal dadkii wax maqlay oo wax arkaya macalin waa inay curyaan macalin uma hayna camal dadkanayto ay u dambeeyaan and no representation in the county executive dadka CEC-ga la doorto dhan ma ku jiro ruux curyaan hatta chief of staff ma ku jiraan which means dadka lagu hala una orda calafkaada cagtaada hoosteeda ku jira sama dhihin cagtaada hoosteeda ka raadin haddaad sidan aad tahay saas waay sorry to say that marca there's nothing for us without us hadda salaada meesha sooma fadhido hadda iyada meesha ku jirin ma soconaysa sheekadaas komitiyada hadda ku jiro ruux curyaan uu ku jirin komitiyadaas ma u dhanna yacni dadka bulshada ma u dhanna shan haddaa tiin laba inay lahaadaan laba haddayaan hataa halkoo ku daro at least there's representation here waxaaba u doodaa constitutionka idaalaaba u doodaaba iyaka hadday ku jiran habeen waa inuu curyaan ku jiro wixii zamaan la dhijir committee galay jirta iyo committee bazar jira hadduu ruuxaas ka maqan hadda waa isku abaabulina ba committee iyada that is it
Thank you.
ruuxinkii ilowani
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So our next question goes to our representative from the youth, Adanur, and the question is twofold: the participation of youth in terms of governance and accountability. That's number one, and number two, the youth as a special interest group. Are they realizing the constitutional right as a special interest group? Karibu sana Adan.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Adan Mohammed Hassan. I'm the Secretary of Good Governance. I will speak to two issues on the issue of youth inclusion. If we are to celebrate anything, is devolution. We have been talking about devolution for some times. I think since 2012 up to now, we have realized what constituent and devolution has done. But that said, we have a problem in terms of the large chunk of youths that are in these counties. We've heard of the wastages in counties. You have heard of the what do you call it, the wheelbarrows of Bungoma. There are a lot of problems, but I will restrict myself to aspect one, the rule of law, and under the rule of law, I want to talk about the tendering processes. We have a large chunk of youths who are entrepreneurs in this town, who have companies who are qualified, to do work with county government or either the national government. But what we have is the issue of youth being given opportunities has become a problem. It is there when they are advertising, for example, tenders. You've heard this project is for youth. But when we apply, I think the youth category should be looked at, because people who are being given these opportunities are people who are out of the age bracket that is envisaged in the Constitution. That has been seen for several times. The issue of still tendering, the tendering processes, the bidding processes, the competitive bidders, there are a lot of things that's supposed to be done. Previously, we used to see tenders that have been advertised in a notice board, but nowadays, all those things have disappeared. How many of you have access to internet? How many of us have access to government information? For example, the youth who is in Godoma, the farthest part of this county, and the Jabula, how is this network effective? If you go and ask for these questions, you are told this thing has been advertised, it is in government systems, you can find it. But even if you waste your resources and apply for these projects, that is not being realized. So we need to have a very serious public participation. We need to have a very serious, discussion on this. The issue of human resource and recruitment. It is one of the requirements of Article 10 of the Constitution. We have a problem in terms of recruitments in counties, not only particularly Wajir, but in most of the counties where youths are. For example, let us domicile and talk about Wajir. We have people who have graduated from universities. There are those who have went to tertiary level of education. A number of them are tamakin, over 8 years to 10 years. And when these opportunities of recruitment come, those who will take these opportunities are wenye wanajua watu, takijibu kwa wena katan. Those you think have very, good fathers who can take this. The issue of people looking about your credibility, your academic qualification has not been realized in these counties. That is why we can say there is a lot of corruption that is taking place. As the youth and maybe a youth leader, one time I faced the Public Service Board when Wajir Good Governance was being formed. We've highlighted a number of issues, concerns by the youths. But unfortunately, we've never received a feedback from whatever questions we have asked. That is why we have got problem of communication, awkward communication in counties. If you talk about opportunities, we must talk about merits. If you look at the kind of human resource we have, I think we need to have a surgery in these areas, because there are people who are qualified, let me say overqualified, who are not getting jobs. In every time when jobs are advertised, those who are getting these jobs are not the right people. For example, recently there was an advert on nurses, where nurses were employed. Those who have finished maybe or graduated 10 years ago have not been given the opportunity. And those that are getting opportunity are those who have finished 2010, 2000, 2002, 2022, just recently. So that is the kind of problems that we have about the youth. The number 2 is about public participation in budget making process. Budget making process in this region has become an issue for very few people and few individuals. Number 1, the mode of advertising the public participation programs is a problem. Where is secure radio? You rarely find it the notice board, and if you see, there is rush. There is always rush in public participation. What happens when public participation are run? You end up in misplaced priorities. Our views are not heard at the right time, because if we have a public participation around noon, or at 1 or at 2 p.m., how many people will attend that? We also need to look at where we are doing this public participation. It's far from the time, most of the time. At the same time, our budget making processes has problems because our budgets are not being itemized. And most of you are here, the youth, if you ask today what is in for your village, forget about your constituency, some of you might not know, just
Thank you.
because of the kind of problems that you have.
Thank you. Thank you, Adan. I think we'll come to Madam to give a snapshot of what you said. And then I want to pass the mic to two persons in the hall. And I will probably ask two volunteers. And I'll give, for purposes of equity and inclusion, I'll pass one opportunity I'll give to our HI participants here who are ably represented, and one person from the other category. So if you want to, this group get to ask one person, and then we'll get a volunteer from this side. Madam.
هذا النور ولكن هذا النور وحور بسنجرينها دلنيرة عدكود ماشى سيتو فريامانت وحاله ويد governance and accountability لحساب تنكه ما مولده هذا النور وحو كده واجي بعضي وحي هاد ما ملحمة قبل كجرته sababta wuxuu dhahay waxaad arki kartaa dadka dhalinyarada badan waxay u badan yihiin dukaamaha waxa iska la dhalinyarada magaalada joogto soo ma arkin markii contract tendering la hagaajinayo iik wax oo ma aragtay age bracket ka ay ku qorantay wax oo taxgelinayo ma jirto wax badan ay subin opportunities badan ay subin jiraan farsamo badan ay qaban karaan ay jirta laakiin nafaaski iyo fursadii wax siinahayaba ma jirto no access to vital information sidii budgetka waxyaalaha muhiimka informationka ay u baahan yihiin si ay ku helayaan malaha network ku sheekeeyay ruux Jabula joogo wuxuu wixii Wajir joogo kama dhacay inta Huduma Center jirta adiga Wajir hadaa joogto Huduma Center aad kartaa oo barnaamij ku ka fulin kartaa laakiin ruuxu tuulada joogo muxuu ogaan karaa ma ogaan karo tan kan wuxuu public participation markii wacyi gelin la suubinayo waxa loo suubinaa harakar ka ahaan wacyigelinka markii oo la suubin lahay hal bil ka hor oo wacyigelin la suubin lahay oo dadkii khibradan lahay iimaan lahayeen oo maarta fursadaada aad dhowran lahayd maanta markii la suubin karo kala bari salaada maqla ay sitii hal isku imaan dadka nafaaski fursadii lama siinayo tii kale wuxuu dhahay dadka graduates oo graduate kareen mar hore shaqo la'aan way magaalo Wajir dadka badaha dad masters hastana arki oo from a very resource reliable jaamacad weyn ka imaaday laakiin wax tahagelinayaba ma jirto qasaaw if you dine with big brass dadka oo ma aragtay jabka operation ma aragtay ama godfara hadaa qabto masruux horsacad hadaa qabto wax way heli laakiin nin iska masaakiin oo buulada ma aragtay gadaasheeda ka yimaado oo ruux horsacad qabin wallahi asaga ilaahay giisa way qualification lama fiiriyo dhahe hatta qardaas fiican hadaa wax fiirinay ma laha yaa dhala gabadhan ay tahay maxamed kii aan ka saymay aha salaada adoo waraaq ordi la arki meesha keentan warka ma hayno tan kale wuxuu dhahay maalin hore taqtarina la qoru dhahe taqtarinta la qoro waxa kamid ahay ruux waxa jira 10 sano hadda ka hor jaamacad soo bogay oo suuq walba xafiiska tagay soo noqonay dadkii oo joogan dadkii shalay dhow soo baxay hadan wuxuu dhahay shaqada la siiyay marka dhibka farada badan uu sheegay taasa kamid ahayd budget making process markii budgetka la hagaajinayana wuxuu dhahay harkarka lagu suubiyo hatta dadka fursad lama siiyo budgetkana is not atomized wax oo muhiim ah lama gelinayo meesha wixii reer Wajir hadda oo dan ugu jirto dadka bulshada dan ugu jirto lama gelinayo wax oo ما يعني أمش الغصة قرأ ضدك وما أرتأي كفى إذين عمل.
Thank you. So we'll take the questions from the stakeholders, and we'll start with our brothers and sisters from the HI team. So please, Representative Karibu. So as I understand, our brother who is participating will sign, and then Mwalimu will voice. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, please, Karibu.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before I talk, my name is Farah Mahmoud. I'm a teacher at the Wajir School for the Deaf, but the Wajir Deaf Empowerment Secretary. Me, I want to talk about accountability and access to the government services for people with special needs. Hospital, courts, there are no interpreters. the constitution or the law says 30% for the tendering people with a disability and women and youth and deaf, but deaf never get it. They are just there for in paperwork, but there are no implementation. 5% for employment, but employment there's few. Employment, there are very few. There are no data. There are no data for people with a disability. People do not know how many people are which have disability. So there are no accurate data. People when they are traveling to Garissa, they have a lot of challenges. The police ask at the bridge, they ask about the ID. But people do not understand their language. So they say, you are pretending to be deaf. But it's reality. Other disabilities, they have card, disability card, they show. But they don't accept these people, they don't accept the disability card. They ask for the ID. Better we change so that we have the disability card showing that you are disabled. Same passport. The same, it's there, we show them, but they don't accept. Thank you.
Wow. Hiya. So, thank you. So I think, so we all got the message, very powerful messages. I mean, that is why when you exclude people, irrespective of their, how God has created them, you lose out on their collective wisdom. The gentleman has raised very critical issues of basic access to education. You can imagine this basic service provider that the police asking you for your national ID, you do not know what they are saying. And when you tell them you are disabled, you have been told you are pretending. That level of KNHCR Representative Ali is here. I think that is a very serious concern. Probably the actors in the security sector need to take note of that. Because the moment you produce a disability card, that should suffice. But look at that level of exclusion. So probably I'll, yes, Mushima. The mic's fine.
It is very true that the disability undergo a lot of vigorous process in any institution, but I want to clarify one thing, that persons with a disability, all persons with disability have their disability card must indicate their condition. An example, if I'm physically handicapped, we call it HP, physically, PH. We are called PH. For us category, physically handicapped, we are called PH. Visually impaired, they call HI. VI. And mental handicapped, they call MI. You know, it indicates, but does not indicate MI or whatever. It indicates whether you are a deaf, you are a deaf. Whether you are a mental, you are a mental. Whether you are a physical, you are a physical. Whether you are blind, it indicates blind. It does not indicate visually. So, if there's someone with a disability card that is not indicated their card, that is the response. That's why we have the National Council for Persons with Disability, which is mandated by the Constitution that they register. Again, the truth, we have that issue of data in the county. The social services have their own data on support programs. The Department of Gender, they have the Severe Disability Fund and the assist on the entrepreneur business support for persons with disability. They have the different data. So while we are saying that's the time we ask them, can you come together, you know, compare the data and see what is the gap. The Ministry of Health, I think in conjunction with the council in the department or the health department, sometimes they went around to do registration. But now challenge we have. The biggest challenge we have are the Nur, God forbid, is my brother who's not physically challenged or doesn't have any disability. When the age he reaches, he's working for the national government. When he reaches the age of 50, he's almost retiring, he'll go register as a person with disability. Because now it's online. You know? Not even, you know, you don't cut cut your finger, you don't cut any part of your body. You're very able-bodied, then here you are, you want to. Actually, in the card, then actually you'll get the tax exemption, one factor. The other factor is age increased by 5 years. You're supposed to retire at 60, but now you'll retire at the age of 65. That's another challenge we're facing. So integrity, that brings what up? Integrity, individual integrity, which is going to take us some time back. But as the disability clan, here and impaired, especially called in the society, the deaf are part and parcel of the community. I know in the employment there's a challenge because we have been arguing. In 2013 in the CIDP, I can attest that I made sure with my team that we put a sign language interpreter in every department, special health, education, they have it. And even later, I think the education, even my sister and team were employed after 2013. So the question is, really, who's implemented? The wearers should know where it pinches. And unless we get the accurate data for persons with disability, today as we speak, I think we are past 21st century, yeah? And we have children who are hidden in our community, Somali, that sees a women, you know, as a community, Somali women with a disability, we have 3 challenges. We have first a challenge as a woman because of the stigma we face from our male counterpart. Being a pastoral community, then pastoral background, dependence on men is another challenge. Then the thirdly, being a person with disability, a woman with a disability, that's the third disadvantage. The question I'm asking my brothers and sisters here, and I want to pose as a challenge, who's feeling comfort, who want to feel in love? Who want to feel in love and marry a lady with a disability? Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we'll pass the mic very briefly to Madam Alimas for purpose of inclusion. Now that we're talking about inclusion, we don't exclude the guys who cannot access these languages. Very briefly, then we'll give one person from the hall, and we'll pass that opportunity will go to Honorable Maimuna Said at the back, but briefly.
And my brother wuxuu dhahay magaciisu waxay Faarax Maxamuud wuxuu ka yimaadaa macallin way iskuulka dhawooluhu joogaa dhibka ugu weyn wuxuu dhahay waxaan ka hadlahay u dhahay la xisaabtanka maamul goboleedka markaan xafiisaha tagna wuxuu dhahay ruux ma arto noo turjuwaanay malaha waa dhawoolo ma ogta ana haduu ku baan maxad waqti wuxuu sheegay ma ka saysid wax walba aad sheegan rabto wuxuu dhahay ruux tarjuwaan oo meeshii jooga ma lahu dhahay midaas oo mid horeysa u dhahay midda kale wuxuu dhahay 30% of the tender waxa ku qaroon u dhahay dhagoolada dadka curyaamaha in la sii waa iska papa waa dhahay implementation ma jirto wax laga qayb qaadasho oo ii kala laga hargelinay ma jirto waa un qardaas ay ku qoranta moogi mid kale wuxuu dhahay markii shaqo la gelinay oo shaqo raadsaneen waan ku yarnoo dhahay waa wax oo fara ku tiris ahaan mid kale wuxuu dhahay marka safar aan aadayno oo safrayno kaar oo aqoonsi ma qabna oo ruuxan waa dhagool ay ku qoran tahay ma laha ma qabna inkastoo xaq u leeyihiin sababtoo biriishka markay marayaan haddii dhagoolnimo askarta ay dhayn waa iska liyeelay haysaa sifa ku gudubta artaa dhib weyn aan ku qabnaa wadhe tan kale waxay dhahay iska liyaal way pretending waa iska yeelay acmal kaarna ma qabnaysaa wuxuu dhahay passportka haddaan dhiibnan hata lama ogolo passport lama ogolo wasaa passport waxa u dhiibi kibaandhahaad ka dhuuman haysaa waxaad san u laadana waa status ima aragti sidaad ku gubtaa so walaashay salaadaha marka waxay dhahdeen dhiibaaba soo darisabo dadka dawladdu u shaqaynay 50 sano markay madaxa geliyaan online ay mood curyaan isku qorayaan curyaanaan ahay sababta dadka taxi cashuurka anaka laga goynay lagama gooy dadka curyaamaha ah safa cashuurta laga goynay daraadad waxa isku qarin adina curyaan tahay dadkii curyaanka ahay ka baran hadee adiga oo lixdaad xad qabaada saasita qor marka waxay dhahdaan anaka haweenka ma arto Soomaalida ah dhibka weyn ay qabaan waxa way naagta marba hadii curyaan tahay iyada lagu suubinay stigmatization oo iska takooray oo gabadha curyaantin aan guursanaynin aan jirin tan kalena waxa way aada loo maxaa lahaa dhib weyn ay kala kulmaan markii community-ga ay la nool yahay.
Thank you. MC, please pass the mic to Honorable Maimuna.
I have some few questions to the panelists. One to the human rights officer. According to Chapter 4 of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, there is the right to life. And we know recently we had a body which was found recently that was abducted and mutilated. So I wanted to ask your office, what has your office done now that we know that the body is not from the MCA of Dela Ward? So have you identified the family of the body? Have you identified, do you have like a data for those, the youths that have been abducted within Wajir County, and what role are you playing to ensure that we reduce the cases of, abductions in Wajir? Because it's very unfortunate that in this government of ours, whereby we have a constitution which we are not following to the latter. So I wanted to know what your office is doing on that case and the other cases that we've had. To Fatuma Yusuf, I wanted to ask, what role is your organization doing to advocate the access of information and also PWD's inclusion in the County Assembly of Wajir? I've been into that assembly, so I know there is a challenge, but I want to know, you and your team, what are you doing to ensure that this community, which you are part of, get access to assembly, the chambers discussions that are going on, because that's a governance issue. The policies are being made there, and if PWDs are not able to access the assembly and whatever discussions that are there, what role are you playing to ensure that they have that? And the last one, I think it's more of like a support on what the youth representative is saying, the issue of HR, the relation between HR based on merit and service delivery and bad governance. As we all know that we have an issue, and we need to speak as a community because we are also part of whatever is going on. When we choose bad leadership, expect poor service delivery. And because of that, and most of us here, we have relatives have been employed there. And we push for our relatives to be employed not on merit-based, but on clan-based or who knows who. So if you expect service delivery, then don't push for your sibling or your relative to be employed on a position that he or she is not qualified for. I've experienced the issue of accountability, and I would like to challenge the people of Wajir County. In the assembly, you feel like once you discuss issues of governance, then there is the issue of accountability. Unfortunately, as a community, when the leaders talk of accountability, especially the oversight role, you find that our elders come in and talk out these issues because they have been involved by the executive. And it's a challenge because don't expect the MCAs to play part in their oversight role if the elders in the community engage in ensuring there is bad governance in the executive.
Thank you. Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Thank you. I think key things. First, you have asked my next round of questions to my friend Ali from KNCR, because I want to connect your question to the issue of governance and accountability, duty bearers have to be accountable to the Constitution, they have to be accountable to the people. So that is the question I will want him to, in response to your question, and tell us the relationship between the governance and accountability, and how that can be achieved, respond to the question on extrajudicial disappearance, and finally, probably the issue of discrimination for minority groups, people with disability, that will be key for us as well. Thank you. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, my sister Maimuna, and I'll just respond first to the issue of the extrajudicial killing. We are all aware that the body was found in Wajir Hospital, or was brought to Wajir Referral Hospital, and the commission participated at various stages. And your next question was whether we have data regarding number of people disappeared. We have the data of number of people that were disappeared, which were reported to us, because maybe there are others that were not reported to us. And preliminary commission does some sort of investigation. It does investigation on various cases, especially for AJS and EDS, extrajudicial killing and enforced disappearances. But I don't want to go to the details about this matter because of various aspects that is still ongoing. So maybe we'll have a discussion in another forum, not on this way, because of the sensitivity that matter involves. So regarding the marginalized groups that my colleague Ahmed has talked about, I think he talked about a bit pertinent issue regarding identification or the challenges that persons living with disability go through whenever they are traveling by road. And I think the first aspect now, what came to my mind is the first aspect now will come from maybe the bus owners to be sensitized so that, because I have several times traveled by bus, and I realized that they normally just say, kila mtu ashuke na bagi yake. And if you don't hear, you have heard about that. I think most of you must have heard that about. So they need also to be sensitized, I think, in various forums, that not everybody can hear, not everybody can see. Then he talked about lack of interpreters at the courts, judiciary. I think we are privileged. One, the commission is a member of Wajir Court Users Committee. My sister Fatuma here, who is the chair of the Civil Society Consortium, is also the vice chair of Court Users Committee. So I think we'll pick it up as a part of an agenda in one of the meetings so that we see, because we also need to hear what are the positions of the judiciary regarding that, because it's not within our mandate. But since a lot of things is discussed under the Court Users Committee, I think Fatuma, we can have it, you can have it as your agenda. And the chair is, vice chair is here with us. So I think that is the way I'll respond to those two questions.
Thank you. Thank you. I think those responses are sufficient. So I'll give Madam to probably translate that very briefly. Then, but I think the other thing for us as partners implementing ForumCiv is that there's an opportunity to work with these special interest groups, and so that you do petitions to the judiciary and the Court Users Committee and other stakeholders that have been identified, so that including the items he raises about the transporters. Because if the transporter does not facilitate these basic discussions and they are not aware, I think sensitization forums will not be a big challenge, so that I think is something that the partners can work with this special interest group for purposes of access and improved accountability for this very special group. Mulim.
And my sister on Maimuna Saeed, waxay weydiisay Ali from Kenya Human Rights. Waxay dhahday chapter 4, Bill of Rights. Waxaa jira ay dhahday meed la arkay. Afar bir hadda ka hore meedka asaga ahay waxay dhahday ruux la abdagdigay oo la afduubay oo la jirdilay oo xubnihiis qaarkood ay ka maqan yihiin mutilated. Waxay dhahday, have you identified the body? meedka la arkay ma aqoonsateen xafiis ahaan maxaa ka qabateen idinka door ceenkad ka ciyaaraysiin dadka badan oo ma aragtay oo la jirdilay macana oo la afduubay xafiiskiin maxaa kaalin ceenkad ka ciyaaraysiin ay dad oo weydiisay waxay dhahday data wax aqoonsi maxaad haysiin oo lagu aqoonsanaya inta dhalinyaro oo la afduubay ilaa hadda maqan xafiiskiin haddii la yimaado aqoonsi mal inkuu imaana camal markan Ali wuxuu dhahay روح اللي دل هاد إكسترا ديجيتال كيلينج روح اللي دلي استالكو يلا ميت كأسجع هاي واقمنا يدهن داتا واقمنا حفيز كذا بحيل صور ريبورت جراي أو حفيز كلا كانوا أردن واي هايان all the documents it's well documented واي هايان واحد أو إما دكمي واي نيسي وحي إيك سوجار ميس كودي وحي سوجارنا ويدلال عين إن شاء الله دبقة يكسو بيان implement investigation are going وحي كلا نحاوي دبقة يكسو بين هايان سان شيء عمل سيدي دتك أو عريامها أو مجلس جروب حيدهن identification ولا هيجينا كاركا مركز سفر عيانا sensitization ولا هيجينا سيدي كوندكتها باس كلا صعدو دريبلكا إن أي أقنصان روح عريان أو نوع عني توكل إنه باس كسارين هاي أو مركز جدك أي مرة أوكل الله سوق رومارت لغور فاذنين مركز مرة هيان أو سيستا فاطمة كوت يوزرز كوميتي كوجرتا وفايس تشير باسون هذا كذا مرة أجندة ستة ويسيقود بين كرتاسي أو روح انتربريتا ماشا سيتو وجر.
Thank you. So I will ask we are really time stretched. I'll ask two more questions, and the first question will be to Adan. the youth representative. Sorry? Sorry?
Maimuna, ya Adhan.
Oh, okay, okay. You have not finished.
There are questions.
Oh, you want to respond?
I had a question.
Okay. Okay, there was a question to Adam. Okay.
Both of us.
Oh, yes, there was one for Mheshimiwa Fatuma.
Yes,
Okay.
from Mheshimiwa Maimuna.
Hold on. Hold on. Let her respond. Let her respond. You'll ask your question.
So, alaikum Maimuna, my sister Mheshimiwa. Thank you. The question was the role we play as a CSO on issue of access to information in the chamber. You know the current Wajir County Assembly, even you know you have your honorable member. That's a small space. And you know, the second thing is we went to the first time we went to the county secretary, the CSOs to work in partnership because with the county government, because we are not a threat. We don't should be seen as a bad people who want to, bring out the bad part of the county government, but also to correct one another where the challenge is. So we had a meeting with the county secretary because the first challenge was access to information. Remember, we had difficulty in accessing the budget. When we were doing the participatory human rights budgeting, in our office we do access to participatory human rights budgeting and advocacy in the lines of human rights. We had difficulty in actually getting that document, but we were promised that with the county secretary, we even we trained the county government on the issue of participatory human rights budgeting and advocacy and in human rights. That helped one. And recently, if you know, then the challenge we asked again was updating the data, the report on time. Because sometimes they used to update very late. This time, if you see it, it was different. And the promise was the issue of this gallery, the public gallery, was a challenge. Remember, in our time, we had a very small seats, 5 to 6 maximum to 10, because that was very squeezing. When the members are sitting, they squeeze, they come up to close to the honorable members, which was also a concern. But currently, they think they promise they will be moving soon to the new chamber, and unfortunately, that chamber will be more worse for the public because of the distance. For one, the second is my worry, my biggest nightmare is for persons with disability, because most of us, we have wheelchair users, we have the white cane users, and that is going to be giving us hard time. The only thing is that building is almost completed, and once it's completed, now it's our obligation. You know, we have also the responsibility as a public to make sure we voice our concern, and that will going to be an individual responsibility. But from the consortium office, we made sure that documentation is updated online, on time, in the website of the county government through a request and having a breakfast meeting with the executive and the Directorate of Finance and Economic Planning.
Thank you. Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Hold on. What was your question, Garare?
So why don't you give us a time as a public? We only want to ask question one person. You are repeating the same question answered by all panelists in 2 hours. What's the
Thank you. Thank you. I think there's something you need to understand. We have a schedule. Hold on. You have asked me a question. I'm going to answer you. We have a public. We have a schedule that we are running, and there is time for plenary, and that is going to be open. So that is the approach we have. Probably someone needs to pass the schedule to the gentleman so that they can look at the schedule. We have a schedule, and the schedule is the next agenda that we have that we are going to. So we are going to come to that part. So please be patient. So Adan, you had you had raised up your hand, but I also have a question for you. But you can respond to or raise whatever issue you wanted to raise.
Yeah, I wanted to raise an issue of. Thank you, Honorable Maimuna, for first of all acknowledging that there is a problem. The problem that we have in this region is about the issue of governance. Is the, we said anyone who wants to come for accountability must come with clean hands. We need to look at our political system. We need to see how we can, solve this issue of negotiated democracy that will not give chances to women and youth who can perform. So maybe going forward, we need to think about how we can, look for women leadership and political participation so that we solve these problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe Madam will briefly translate that.
My sister, Maimuna, waxay weydiisay role of CSOs and inclusion of people living with disability. Access to information and inclusion ay weydiisay. Fatuma waxay dhahday in the current situation in the county assembly there's no space. The space is very minimal, small. Alafu waxay dhahday she had a word. Waxay la kulantay county secretary-ga. Ay la kulantay as a team. Sifay iskula shaqeeyaan the consortium iyo the county government oo fursad loo siiyo. Markan dhibka weyn ay la kulmeen maxay ahayd accessing the budget. So advocacy u hagaajiyeen way u ololeeyeen marka waxay suubiyeen at the moment the budget is updated at the moment waqti xaadirkan Soomaali waa dhibada waqti xaadirkan haddaad fiiriso budgetka aad rabto inaad fiiriso online ka heli wixii la zaman la raadin jiro oo la qarqarin jiro ma jirta is there in the public domain banaanku yaala budgetka waqti walba aad u baahan tahay oo internetka daad fiiriso waad heli kartaa tan kale waxay dhahdeen haddii laga guuro county assembly-gan baarlamaanka inta laga guuro kii hore la aado kor la aado meesha makaroor uu ku yaalo dadka curyaanka ah say ku aadayaan ruuxu wheelchair ku socdaa qaarkood kalashis ku socdaan ruuxu saaka inta ka tagay biri uu kulma soo meeshas so it's a challenge dib weyn waay tan kale waxay documentation is updated all the documents vital documents oo muhiim wixii waraaqo dhan oo dawladda looga baahnaa hadda waa online wax asaas u sir raadin ma jirto هذا النور والله ما شقيدي هذا النور وحي ويدسي ميمونة youth representative وحي bad leadership poor service delivery relative employee green هذا that كان ماشي جوا relative كذا employee green accountability نحيد هذا leaders talk of accountability elders talk about it markii oo leaders ka dadkan oo soo dooran accountability waxaan u sheegnaa waxa lagu soo adeegsanaa ma arto odayaasha wax yar hadii maanta social media inta tagta aad fursad aad hesho ma arag adigu wixii qalbaaga ku jirta ay sheegto bari waxa lagu leeyahay hooda loo taxal xalima maanta xasay subinaysa naga rabadi kale iska reebayna soo adiga qiiqil gal ma arkino هذا النور محوده marka the problem aan qabno waxa way the governance maxay ahayd la xisaabtanka maamul goboleedka saamaha political systemka dadka aan soo doorana waayo dhahay negotiated democracy waxaa waay markii ay jirto election ku soo dhow yahay doorashada odayaal fadhiisana maybe ana xalima waxaan qaba qualification maxamedna waa iska hiivi soo ma arkin dadka ana fursad isin leedo ogtaan inaan wax fiican aan ku keenayo waxa leeytan ka bixiyo meesha maxamed ka soo qaadi maxamed maanta soo doortaa kugu dambeeyna waxa la xalima hadan soo qaadi lahayn maxamed soo aha negotiated democracy hadda wixii ma jiro last time oo kala waa la soo imaaday go'aana la gaara we have to elect the women kikala MCS in the county assembly so wixii horba jir isbedel la imaan doona saas oo dhahay هذا النور
okay thank you so we are now crossing over to the stakeholders on the other side and that's what exactly we are going to do and I will take around the mic but one of the things that came up was the issue of the participation of elders in compromising the issue of good governance. And the Council of Elders is represented here. So I'll pass the first mic to the Council of Elders as a stakeholder representative. Then the rest of the discussions, you will raise up your hand and we will prioritize, give on priority basis. So, nitakaribisha Baba Mzee Ali. Suash or resolution within Hawaii, maamul xumada wajeer ka jirta waxa la yiri waxay ka imaanaysaa doorasho xumo ama dool xumana waxa lagu eedayaa odayaasha barkood odayaasha lagu eedayaa haye hadii maaragtay xisaab la galo accountability la galo isla markii dadkii mas'uuliyadda hayeen odayaasha bay u ordayna leeyahay odayaasha ay kaaga sheeganayeen sheekadii gogol ay noqon bedelkay nin mas'uul saaranta mas'uuliyadiisa lala tirsanaya ay noqon lahayd sheekadu waxay dawad gashay ama oday ama qoys ama qabiil arintaasaan rabaa inaad bulshadan aad kala hadash so now madam your role will be reversed likely the elder is likely to speak either in Somali or Swahili, so you will do the reverse role. So do Abu.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وربنا الرحمن المستعان على ما تصفون وطول الله شرف كورميشن ما هو ما تسيه مسألة قاسي ويديسنا وحين كروا كم تجيبه Somali du xal yiraahdaa lama huraan waa coos jiilaal oday horta lagama maarmo laakiin waa muhiim ninka odayga ninka dhalinyarada hooyada inay wada tashadaan waa shay muhiim korobta Soomaalida meel kastoo la joogaba markay siyaasadda imaado ama xisad qabiilnimo imaado waa kacdaa waxaan ku dhihi karnaa siday ila tahay Soomaalidu waxay tahay lama huraan waa coos jiiraan doorashada ma dhammaanin dadkana ma dhammaanin waa joogaan weli waxaana qeyba insha allahu tacaala haddad ilaahay nagu samo haddana doorashada buuqeeda jira oo soo socota hadda ka hor nin waayeel leh yaa reerka laga galo reerka ka bukuday markaas bukudaba waxaa leeyahay maan quraan maan akrinaa quraanka markaas akrinaana lama tashada bilcaantiisa ilmihiisa lama tashada hoy neefkan soo qabadle waa la iska qowraca xoolihii balaayo waa ka bixi wayse nin waa yeelo waaye araga u tago hadda cudurkaana ahayee ka warramo ciddaada ma la tashataa la dhahay maya dhahay bilcaantaada waa kugu xigtaa bilcaantaada ilmaada la tasha sidaana muwaafaqo ku gaaraya adugu mugay arrinta waa la noqoto migaan sabab qariib maka kumi yana jinja mbusa mangamia kumana guulaysinan kumana guulaysin marka waxaas bilaabay dardaarankii waa yeelka dhahay dadkaas yari hooyadii iyo bilmaas yari wasayelna naf lagu tashadaa la quuraca cudurkii waa baxay marka horta waa yeel ku dhintay ku iska fidisay bay noqon doonaan meel dareengeysha oo hadday idin dhalinyarada haddaan hortaagnayn waaba idin soo socotaa tala xumo rawajaray waa haystaa hadday odayaasha idin gabeen ishooda afkooda ayuu ku dhicin raalli ahaada anuu dalada idin soo gelin diyaaranan tala xumadu maxaa soo dhacay maamul xumadu waa midna wada dhex taalla nin kastoo la doorto oo jago hela markaas xafiiska taga shartigana waa bedelaa maskaxdana waa bedelaa maqaarow yaa kugu jiifuwa marka ay sidaa tahay markii abaar
gorka kalo jeeda ma qoro hay ma ki oo masaaj kala galay oo la duceynay gorka kala duceysanay
maya waa saacatul ijabada la weefiyey maxaana keenay waa muwaafaqada marka isla waqti la ninka waa la helay wasayoto weende adiga odiga aabbaha oo fadhi in adiga lagu imaado ama gabar laga tugo ama geel laga tugo mukul warhanta
ما أدر
ما يلا مجيب
waxaan rabaa inaad ka hadasho markii dadkii lala xisaabtami lahaa oo qaladka lagu haysto waxay u imaanayeen odayaasha u sheeganayeen odayaasha marka waxaa la rabaa inay dhahaan warda waa qaldan tahay dastuurka ma raacayst diinta ma raacayst sharciga ma raacayst mas-uuliyad waa gabti ma dhihi hayn odayaal maxaa loola tashanaa waxaa la leeyahay odayaasha maxay u difaacayeen dadka tala xun oo dhaqanka xun
sidaana jirta oo dambiilin ninkii daafaca u soo dambale laakiin ani waxaan leeyahay dantan waa naga wada dhexjooda iskuuleedna sooma saacaddan wixii ka dambeeyey waxay ila tahay ragga iyo bilcaanka ee dhallinyarada inay wada fadhiistaan odayaashu waxaa qaldayeen saacaddan wixii ka dambeeyna waxaa isla wada qabanna wasalaamu calaykum
shukran so now we have I'll come to you briefly for the benefit of those who did not hear what the old man has said. He's a representative of the Council of Elders and he's responding to the question of accountability. When accounting happens and accountability happens for duty bearers, the tendency is for people to go back to the elders and say so and so is out to fix me. So we're asking them about accountability, and now my sister has a reverse role of sharing what exactly is the sponsor. Very briefly.
And we have Mzee Ali here. He was asked, most of the times you see they are the hurdles, they are the problems. Because whenever we mention something to do with good governance, they are the big challenges that we face. So, amesema elders are there to involve everyone in the decision making, starting from the family. Bila hiyo, hakuna kitu itafanyika. You have to start from your family, including your wife and everyone. You should bring everyone on board. Alafu amesema la muhurano uzjilal. It's like you cannot do without them. Tunasema panapo wazee hapaharibiki maneno. Na yeye amesema juu ya hila lalamishi yote tumesikia, akasema directing his question to Other Nur, if we were blocking you, we are giving you the way. We are paving you the way. That is the youth. Na anasema wacha tuone, since the election period is near, nasema sisi tumewapatia nyinyi njia. Amesema kama wazee walikuwa wanaharibu maneno, the time is not far. The election is nearing. During the emergency period, the elders were summoned and they prayed so that they get a solution. And they succeeded through their prayers, unity and cooperation. Anasema why elders were protecting and defending the bad ones, the bad leaders. Wanasema through all this we can get in decision making process, cooperation and working together as a team.
Thank you. So I'll give the opportunity to Ibrahim. Karibu sana. So I think for benefit of everyone else, you can do yours in Swahili.
Mimi kwanza nawashukuru wale ambao wanaishi mkutano. Nafikiri as a civil society ni fursa mzuri kwetu. Na hii mjadala ni live, wengine watusikia nafikiri vile walikuwa wanafanyanga Wajir Radio Community. So when I come to the point, kwanza kabla sijatoa maoni yangu, nataka niwaulize ForumCiv. Wakati mlikuwa mnafanya representation yenu hapa, tuona sura ya Wakenya wengine, hatujaona sura ya Northern Kenya katika hiyo representation. That inclusivity ikisongea it must start from your office you are holding. Ndio tunaomba next time wakati tutakutana tuone sura yetu hapa. Ndio tutafurahia tunasema inclusivity is there kabla tujalaumu wengine. And then nalaumu three organizers NGOs ambao walifanya hiyo ForumCiv ambayo ilikuja leo hapa. Wakati una blame mtu, it is good to invite in that blame forum. Una blame serikali, ujaita serikali. So ni kati yetu tunazagenya serikali. You are not going anywhere. Third thing, wananchi wajia, what I'm expecting from this meeting today, my hope ilikuwa tuongee mambo corruption peke yake. For example, nikichukua mfano kidogo, as a public participation watu wanaongea hapa. Serikali wakati wanafanya kitu, wana advertise through other new media and magazetini and social media. Wananchi wakati unaita kwa hall, wanakuuliza kuna pesa. That's a corruption. So kila mtu amejua bila shilingi kwenda kujaa kwa hiyo, hata hiyo kama mtu atarudisha reversal ya transportation, watu wote watatoka. Kwa hiyo ambayo tunakaa saa hizi, without reversal of the transport, watu watakaa hapa. So the issue ambayo mnatakana mtackle ya kwanza, issue of the corruption. The rest ni kazi bure. Kuhusu ile council of elders ambayo walimu walisema, as you are speaking today, Wajir County Assembly, 45 leaders, 30 elected, 15 nominated, all of them are youth. Na wale wanaendesha corruption ni hawa. Tusilaumu mwingine. My friend youth chairman Ana Nur alisema kuna vijana health ambayo maandiko juzi madaktari. What is forgotten is mwenye aliandikwa na mwenye aliachwa yote ni vijana. Kama yake hajabahatika, kuna mwingine amebahatika. Na serikali haiwezi andika watu wote mara moja. Lazima to accept truth and lies. Unaona Kishago impeachment yake, for example, likichukua kabla hiyo process ijaenda, Gishaga alichauriwa kutoa mkato ya malango ya nyuma kutumia wazee wa Kikuyu na breachers kwa enda kukutana Ruto ili asimamishe step. Lakini already National Assembly na Senate walibanga mpango yao kando. So wakati una lie to yourself, in your heart yourself, 30% alisema employment of youth. Yeye akipewa tenda sahi anaenda kuuza kwa maana hana ile capacity.
Okay, Ibrahim. Ibrahim, so that's fine.
Wakati mnaelimisha umma, you must say truth.
Hold on. I want to tell you one thing, eh? Yes. Kidogo, this discussion is not one personal and it's not between you and ForumCiv. It is for the people of Wajir.
Yeah, in that
hold on, let me finish. ForumCiv has provided and the organizations have provided platform for this conversation. One, it's not personal. Adanur is not speaking for himself. He is speaking for a group. Whatever your views are yours. That's why the issue of participation at individual level is an excellent opportunity. No problem. And you are raising very important issues. Whether the youth have the ability to do the tenders if they are given. A fair point. You are talking about employment. Some have been left behind, others have not been left behind. He is talking about the process. Did the right people get recruited? Were people recruited on merit? For instance, I'm from Wajir. I have graduated 10 years ago. You have employed someone who graduated 3 months ago. What is the qualification? Those are basic things you need to respond to.
If I respond to your question, Malimu.
Yes.
This is an African nation.
Yes.
When you elect an African man, the first thing to empower his community, not qualification. What capability the person has qualification has, at a layman man has. Because as matter what the truth is, huyu akimkujia atakuexplain lugha ya Kisomali. What you can do, I can do it.
Okay.
Fair
point. You can wrap up your contribution.
Look, picture of the nation today. Picture of the nation today. Ruto appoint 51 principal secretaries. Out of 51 principal secretaries in 42 tribes of Kenya, 21 is a Kalenjin. 16 is a Kukuyu. What has he left for the nation? 15. So don't blame others. What is going to kitu ambacho hamwezi kufanya Hakuna haja kupotisha Wakenya maneno.
Thank you.
That's the truth of the matter.
Okay.
So my expectation from the whole, my expectation from the whole, today only discuss issue of the corruption. How are you going to attack the issue of the corruption? The rest of the issue is useless.
Thank you.
Kitu ambayo tuwezi fanya, hakuna haja kupotisha.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We'll pass the mic around. I want you to understand one thing. Nothing personal issues. That's number one. Number two, just because someone else has done wrong, it doesn't make it right. Yeah, we do not have to talk about the national problem as a justification for other bad governance locally here. So the fact that has been done wrong elsewhere doesn't make it right. So I think we need to understand that. So we can pass the mic to the lady at the front, and then we'll, okay. I'll give you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
She can sit. Let her sit. It's okay. You're comfortable. Okay.
Waxaan u malaynayaa dadka badi inta joogaan saaka way garanayaan. Mida maamul wanaaga hadin ka hadla. Aadan wax baad ka dhawaajiyay, Faadimo wax bay ka dhawaajisay. Kulligeen isku danto anaya nahnay. Waxyaalaha iyagana way jiraan, wax jira ay ka dhawaajiyeen. Mida hadin ka hadla odayaasha aan eedda dusha ugu tuurnay oo dhahnaa ayaga noogala soo sheegtaa. Marka aan wax aan ka hadalna ama media ka hadal taas iyada way jirtaa waa noogala soo sheegtaa odayaasha aniga xaliim ahaan sidaan hadda taas iyada anay bi qabatiba ilaa aniga badanaa dadku ay garanayeen in media ka hadla aniga waxaan ka imaaday Wajir East xilibaanka Wajir East aan warsaday niyahow media kan ka hadlay wadankaad waad ka maqantay xageed jirtaa baan ku dhahay waa liisoo takol garay waa liisoo wacay oo leeyahay maxaad ka rabtaa xilibaanka konton sanaad soo haysateen gambar maanta kilax on 5 sano la gaarin miyaad aan aflagaadaynaysa war ana qabiil ma sheegin xilibaanka Wajir East baan sheegay aan qofka soo wacay marka taas iyada way jirtaa mid recruitment-ka oo nurses-ka oo dhareeto la qoray county-ga laga qoray waa run way jirtaa ilmaha la employee waa ilmaha Wajir waa ilmaha dhalinyaro laakiin xaq baa la kala leeyahay ilma qaarkood jirto oo ongoyn oo akhrisanayeen oo la qoray jirta dad soo dhameeyo certificate haysto oo socdana waa jiraan county-ga shaqada markii la qorayo lama soo advertise garay laakiin waxaan aragnay yaa soo doortay iyo la leeyahay markii doorashada hay ilmahooda inaan la qoraa tan had saaka annaka magaalada Wajir aan ognahay dadkan waana la ogyiin marka waxyaalaha ayaga waa jiraan wax qaldan waa jiraan wax saxan waa jiraan laakiin qaladkaada ay u badan tahay maamul xumadana anaka isu keenay إلا public participation مركي نقول يراي mandate finance bill كعمل ونقول يري وانتقنا أنا كcivil society هان أو فاضمة أي نوين وانتقنا قارقاي نرد أنا قال الرئيب ورياش يرد على الرئيب محلو الرئيبايا وحان صوب بلشيد اللي مس وبندقين ولا ما دقين هلا كهذا وحين كهذا كرنا وكهذا إن اللي عليه أو وحين كهذا لا صحيح هل بلغ مسي إن حوجا لو مرسنا وحي وجار قد عوقنا قال الله صدق أكنت مركا أنا كرر وجار هدينا هني أنا قم أنا سوكا إن هذيك سدا مركا وح كهذا wax kala dad kala naga hor imaado oo naga hadla dadkan waa reeyo Wajir ilaa intaan saas aan ku dhaqan haynaba horumar ma gaaraynaba mana la shaqeyn karna dawladda aniga ahaan maxay qabatay howlkan oo buug lagu lanjigaraynaa in imaado liima yarin waan iska socday waan soo laabay howlka buuga lagu lanjigaraynaa gabadha buug ku lanjigaraynayso oo bis u soo leeyin jirtay irida la iga reeb inaan soo galo bodyguard ay iga reebo governor bodyguard kiis wixii saday meeshan lama galay oo maxaa dhacay soo buug oo reeyo Wajir loo ma keenin maya ma galeys intaas maxay liigu yeelay gabadhan way hadashaa oo radio ay ka hadashaa marka iyadana marka maxay la sheegay horta meesha ka sheegaya horta waxaan haysta badana reer Wajir waxaan haysta wax noocaas ah jirta bulshada qofkii la arko oo yara firfircoonba lugta lagu reebaya ha bixin hadalkaas ka aamus salaamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi
thank you Mama Halima please pass the mic to the gentleman in Kikoi but before that I'll ask madam to briefly translate what she just said in Somali kidogo hold on there madam in English, you will do that in English because yes. Thank you. Thank you. In the interest of respecting people's opinion, she has passed an opinion. We will respect that. People who will ask questions will also ask their questions. Thank you.
Salala, we are here to respect other people's opinion. Wacha sema yake. And she's called Halima Hassan. amesema anaongelea mambo ya hisabtanka maamul goboleedka, that is.
She actually said in Somali, so you say it in English, huh?
See, I'm saying in English. Yeah, okay. What is it,
okay.
Mwalimu?
Okay.
You know, in the social media, she asked one of the area MP where his whereabout. Immediately, she was summoned by her elders. Afterwards, sindio? Wala so shakti sama? MP. Okay, elder, he was a leader, sama? Because afterwards, she was summoned and reported to the family elders. Na alikanywa. Is it citizen or elder? It doesn't make a difference. Kwa sababu si alisema na aliitwa, si ndio? That is it. And she was invited by our sister Salada through CSO consortium. There was a public participation, but they were blocked. They were blocked. They were not able to raise their concerns. And during their financial bill at the ICT hall, they were not able to. They were not letting her in. People see her as a threat. Kwa sababu anaongeanga sana in the social media. She has a say there. Alafu anasema there was a luncheon of her books. Sindio alisema hiyo? Here. So the same thing, she was not allowed to be part of those people who are there. Kwa sababu alikuwa wanadhani atakuwa akiharibu maneno ya hapo ndani. So most of the time they face these challenges in the public domain.
Thank you. The gentleman with the mic. Uliza swali ama contribution, whichever.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ani waxaa leedahay Axmed Kutaab Cabdi. Waxaan kamid yahay odayaasha nabadgelyada Wajir. Waxaan rabaa wax yar in horta Kiswahili ku hadlo. Thank you. Nasikia vizuri sana leo washikadau yote ambao wamekuja hapa, wengine kutoka Nairobi, na wakaribisha hapa kwa sababu leo tumeelimika hapa mambo mengi. Ningependa kusema tuko na uchungu kidogo, ile ambayo amejibu human right, mkilishi wa human right haikutosha, kwa sababu mimi kama mzee tunaona kwanza naanza na national government ambayo iko kwa mkononi wake usalama. Vile mnavyojua mtu apotee kwa mkononi ya maafisa ya serikali ambayo ile amehajiriwa ni kuchunga life and property, kuchunga maisha na mali, ndio ameandikwa. Vile tunajua ya kwamba ile tumehitaji askari ni kuchunga maisha yetu na mali yetu. Askari si watu ya kusurura vile mnavyojua. Askari ni watu ya kuchukua amri. Kwa hivyo kama sisi wananchi hatujaelimishwa vizuri vile mbaya inatakikana, tungependa watu ambaye human right na waelimisha wananchi ya kwamba kumchukulia hatua askari ni kitu kidogo sana, kwa sababu huwezi kutafuta askari, unatafuta mkubwa yake ambaye ni inspector general na wengine. Kama saa hii vile umepotea kwa mkononi wa wananchi, hiyo ndio inatusumbua sana, na tunataka Human Rights Commission wafafanue the last 2 years ile watu wamepotea ni wengi sana, ni zaidi, hata inaongezeka. Kwa hivyo hiyo ningeambia kwa watu wa human rights. Ya pili, mimi nachukua lawama ya wazee ambayo wakati ya uchaguzi wanafanya uchaguzi ambayo ya kusikizana kimbani. Hiyo inaleta shida mingi sana, kwa sababu huyu mtu wakati analete kama ukabila. Mimi nimechucha watu, nimepelekea wa Kenya, ameshinda, hawezi kujinidhamisha, kwa sababu ile kitu iko sasa katika government yetu, serikali ya juu ya chini, ya ugatuzi ni corruption. Ile mtu alikuwa anasema ni corruption. Saidi ile corruption ndio iko juu zaidi. Kile kitu ambayo inajua public participation vile ilisemekana saa hii inawekwa kila mahali. Wananchi haupewi nafasi ya kuangalia, na hata ile maneno ambayo watatoa huko kwa ICT hall ama mahali haifuatwi vile tunajua. Kwa hivyo tungependa sisi wananchi ndio mkoso inatoka kwetu, kwa sababu vile watu wametueleza sisi ndio uwezo wa juu katika Kenya. wananchi ndio supreme vile sheria inasema. Kwa hivyo tungefuata sisi wote, tungesaidia hizi mashirika ambayo ya nani inaitwa hizi mashirika ambayo anatupatia civic education, tungefuata na tungepatia nguvu ule ambaye anatufanyia kazi, kwa sababu mimi naona hata jina ya wananchi imechukuliwa na wafanyakazi wetu, kwa sababu unasikia hapa mimi ni raia, huyu ndio serikali. Nani serikali katika wananchi na nani? Wananchi ndio serikali, lakini hawa ni wafanyakazi. Kwa hivyo already jina yetu wafanyakazi kuanzia president mpaka governor, wale wangetutumikia ndio tayari wamechukua jina yetu. Kwa hivyo tutachukua wakati mrefu kuelewa hiyo maneno. Ningelomu county assembly, kuna madam yetu hapa hapa, ile masho ya kutuchungia mali yetu ni county assembly. Kuna petition mingi wananchi wamefanya katika the last 2 years ama 2 and a half, ambaye ni some month ndio wamepita, wananchi walikuwa wanapeleka complaint huko na haikuwa nafika kwa nani county assembly. Hata nimeshangaa kuna petition karibu 3 mimi najua imefika kwa county assembly, hiyo imetupwa. Kwa hivyo mimi siwezi kusema ni executive peke yake ndio iko na makosa. Hata county assembly yetu inafanya kazi kujinufaisha wenyewe, ndio wanakaa huko naye. Kwa hivyo mpaka tubadilishe nani, imekuwa kama traditional, imekuwa ile mtu ambaye atakaa huko ndio atachukua nani pesa ya wananchi yote ndio watagawa. Kwa hivyo mimi nakubali ya kwamba leo hii wale ambayo county assembly na governor ndio wanakaa juu ya meza kugawanya hizo pesa kwa binafsi yao. Kwa hivyo ile kitu tutafanya ambayo tutotoka kwa hiyo maneno, wananchi ndio wataulizwa, kwa sababu kuna jambo moja inasemwa, kama kidonda ambaye inapasuliwa nini kisu mwenyewe ndio imeingia imekuwa kidonda. Sasa utatumia gani? Wananchi ndio kisu ya viongozi, mkilala shaurieni.
Thank you. Asante. Sasa kuna swali moja kwa mwenzangu hapa wa KNHR, atajibu hiyo swali. Alafu ananiwaambia tu one thing that is important. I think you raise very important issues, but we also need to remain as brief as possible so that we can allow as many people as possible to participate in this discussion. Sorry.
First, I wanted to talk about the issue of, you talked about sensitizing the public about their rights. It's something we have been doing, we are still doing. Even last Mashujaa Day, we were at Adi Masajida. I don't know for those of you who have seen through our X space, but that's what we do normally, to hold such public forums or interactions with other agencies. Even today, what we are doing here is part of because I talked about the introduction about the commission at my earlier presentation. And that is how we sensitize the members of the public on their rights and responsibilities. Regarding the data, regarding those cases they talked about, we have all the data regarding cases that we have received. But I don't want to go into details about what each level or which case, what was it, and all that. I will not go at this stage because of the purpose of this forum. Maybe you can have a discussion in other aspect, or maybe you have you can also pay us a visit to our office.
Thank you. So you want to sleep? Okay, so we want to pass the mic again to the stakeholders, and I'll prefer a female. Any lady who has contributions or questions. I can see the gentleman in the counter and the one in the council, but I want to give the opportunity to ladies first. Then, if there are no ladies to take the opportunities, I'll select between the two of you. Wamama, wanawasichana wetu wenye wako hapa. Anyone who wants to take the chance? Aya, peana mic hapo tafadhali.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Na wasalamia kwanza. Na washukuru wote. Nafurahi sana tukutane leo tujue maneno ya yani shida ya nini mkoa yetu kutoka Garissa, Wajir, Mandera yote. Shida ile iko Mandera, Wajir, Garissa ndio tuko iko na sisi hapa. Nimeshukuru wote kwanza, nikawasalamia. Baada hiyo tumeongea sisi yote, tumeongea tu katika kitu moja. Tumeongea tukasema governance and accountability in Northern Kenya. Hiyo tu. Na yote tumekuja tukasingira, tukaongea kutoka huko, tukaongea kutoka hapa, zote tukakuja. Ile shida iko na sisi ni ukabila peke yake. Ile inaleta shida katika mkoa yetu ni ukabila. Kwa maana sasa tukisema maendeleo, serikali tunafurahi sana, tunapata usalama, wacha hii ya uwizi ya kando kando wacha, lakini tuko na serikali ya Kenya, tunajidai tukiwa wa Kenya sana. Kwa maana hakuna katika Afrika sijasikia usalama kama Kenya. Yani iko na wananchi wako na freedom ya kufanya biashara yao, kufanya yani kila kazi yao wanafanya wakiwa waogopi. Wanatembea kila mahali. Lakini ile kitu iko sasa, sisi ndio tunanyanyasana wenyewe. Kwa mfano kidogo, wakati moja nilienda hapa hapa county council hapa mbele ya assembly, nikitaka kujua kidogo kuuliza nyumba nyingine ya county council, nikitaka kurent. Nimeingia ofisi tu kidogo, nikauliza wapi nataka mkubwa hapa. Kuuliza nikaambiwa wewe umetoka bula gani? Umetoka bula gani? Nikamwambia hii ofisi inakaba kwa kuhudumia bula gani? Alafu sasa secretary akasema tafadhali sana pisha mama. Unaona? Nikaingia nikamaliziwa shida yao. Ile kitu inatuziba ni hiyo. Kwanza mtu akiingia kwa ofisi unaangalia ulimi. Unaangalia anaongea lugha gani? Unauliza anatoka yani ni mkoa gani ama bula gani ama nini? Hiyo kwanza ndio imeua. Sasa kama tuseme huyu mwenzetu ametoka sahi, nimesahau jina yako kidogo. Yote alisema sisi tunajua shida lakini hatutaki kutambua. Alisema iko mimba kwa nini? Kwa kinonda. Na hiyo mimba inataka kutolewa na kisu. Mwenye kutoa hiyo kinonda ni sisi ambayo ndio kisu. Kama hatutaki kutumia hiyo mimba itatoka. Sitakaa tu kama tutaoza. Si ndio? Ile kitu ningekaa nasema sisi yote maneno yetu na ulimi yetu imekuja mahali moja ambayo ni ukabila, wacha kuficha ama kutaja kando.
Asante wewe.
Tafadhali no.
Hujamaliza? Okay. Tufupishe tafadhali.
Nipishe tafadhali. Kwa maana nataka pia nijue ni nini inaweza kutusaidia kutoa hiyo mimba. Ile kutaka kutoa hiyo mimba ni ile bado turudi kwa hiyo ukabila. Kwa sababu kama sasa tulisema Rigadi alimpichiwa. Watu wote wakasikizana wakatolewa. Kwa maana hakuwa yani alikuwa kutoka community moja kabila moja. Lakini Kenya iko kabila wengi, si ndio? Ndio tukasikizana. Lakini kama sasa tuseme kama sasa tuseme Wajir tuko kabila kadhaa 3 tunaishi. Garissa iko kabila 3. Yote tukiwa tu yote ni Wasomali, tuko na dini moja. Kama sisi ni Wasomali. Sisi kama hatungeogopa ukabila, tuogope dini, tungefaulu. Na kama ni wafanyikazi serikali, hawangeogopa serikali, waogope sharia, tungefaulu zote. Sasa ile sisi hatutii ni sharia, hatutoi dini, hatutii dini. Hiyo ndio ile shida iko. Sasa kutokana na hii ambayo yani serikali ama wananchi hawawezi kufufua saa yote, ile dawa ingekuwa tu iko. Ni kutaka kujua katika sasa kama Wajir tunaishi watu 3, tuseme kabila 3 ambayo yote ni Wasomali na wote wako na dini moja. Kama wakati ya kura ama wakati kama hii watu wanakutana, kila clan atolee mtu mmoja. Kama sasa tuseme Ajuran iko clan 8. Dogodia iko clan kadhaa. Kama mtu mmoja kila moja atolewe kama ni wakati ya kukutana. Hii hapa itoke mzee moja. Hapa itoke mzee moja atoke. Wakutane namna hii. Hakuna kubishana, kila moja angepata haki yake. Lakini sasa ile kitu inaziba haki yetu. Ni sasa unaita tu katika bula nzima unaita mtu moja. Na kama hiyo ofisi tuseme kama sasa watu 90 ama wanatakiwa kuhudhuria mkutano fulani, unaita watu wawili katika komiti moja, unaita 98 kutoka nini moja. Sasa ile kitu inaleta shida hiyo. Kama sasa nyinyi tuseme ni watu ya kuangalia human right, hiyo ndio mungefaa kupeleka kwa sheria, museme hata kama ni kona tribe wako lazima awe katika hiyo mkutano, hiyo kwa ofisi ya nini, hiyo ni petition.
Mama, asante.
Ndio.
Asante. Can you pass the mic to the gentleman in the white, a youth? Pale nyuma tafadhali.
Fatuma. Mama Fatuma anajulikana kwa mama ache jina.
Mama Fatuma.
Thank you. Pass the mic to the guy in the white. Tafadhali, if you can do it in Swahili so that we avoid a lot of translations to reduce time.
I will do it in English.
Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Mahmoud Osman from Wajir Peace. I want to comment on an issue, and the issue is the lack of access to information and holding duty bearers accountable. And I want to ask this question: are we doing enough as CSOs and looking for the right information of holding duty bearers accountable in Wajir County? For example, we have complained about a rushed public participation forum. And we all know that the public participation is one-day event in the county, whereby we hold one-day event in all sub-counties. But the budget-making process is a vigorous process. It has what's called budget cycle. It starts with the formulation stage. It has got the approval stage. Formulation stage begins with the county CEC finance. And then it comes to the county assembly, the second stage school approval stage. As CSOs or the people of Wajir, what do you do at the approval stage when it is at the house of the county assembly? We all know what happened with the finance bill of 2024. When it comes to the National Assembly, the Gen Zs occupied the house. Have we ever, in our own capacity as the people of Wajir or as CSOs, have we ever occupied the county assembly of Wajir? Number two, including me, of course, the other stage of budget making process is implementation process. Implementation has been done by the county government. We know what's done, this, what's done, this. After that, there's a stage of reporting. And I want to be very brief on this. Reporting, at the end of every financial year, we receive the Auditor General report. As CSOs, how many of us have really interacted with the Auditor General's report? And if so, what have we done about it? For example, in the last financial year, we had an issue of on-source revenue, OSR of Wajir County government. There were several leakages, whereby the county government had an ambition of collecting close to 400 million shillings yearly. But they have collected a merely, if I'm not wrong, 161 million, thereabout. So what have we done about it? Are we doing enough in holding our duty bearers accountable? Thank you very much.
Thank you. So the first thing is before we do that, and I was looking for Ali. So we will pass the mic to Madam Halima to help translate that bit, and then we will pick the next questions. Thank you.
Mohammed Osman wiilka hadda hadlaya is from Wajir Peace. Wuxuu weydiiyey access to information, the duty bearers, those who are accountable. In budget formation, wuxuu weydiiyey CSOs, what do you do during the approval at the county assembly? Markii budgetkan la basmarinayo oo county assembly u yaala, door nooceed ka ciyaartiin, kaalin ceenka ka qayb qaadatiin ayuu weydiiyey the CSOs. Waxaa kaloo weydiiyey the implementation process and during the reporting. Haddana wuxuu weydiiyey su-aasha iyada CSOs, how do you interact by doing so during this county duty bearers? The county duty bearers markay hagaajinayaan kii kala budgetka, maxaad ku dirsatiin oo kala mise maxaad ka bixin kartiin assemblyga? Waasaa waxay qaban fursad weyn ay qaban iyaga sidii like any other person, idinkan oo kala maaha, fursad weyn ay qaban. Markii budgetka waxa u yaal, maxaad ku dartiin mise maxaad ka bixin kartiin, maxaad u subisin dadweynaha bulshada camal? Su-aashii ka ku socoto. She will answer.
Assalamu alaikum. I would like to answer, but again, the question will come back to you because you are from Wajir Peace and Development Agency, right? So still that question will be more for us all. It depends with which CSO is holding, actually having the budget for the budget public participation on budget making process. They have some institution like ours, as we had some few months. What we did, and sometimes not even just now, I think sometimes back, we took time and some of us risked our lives. We almost died. Some of us. Today, why am I on spectacle is because of a tear gas that was, it busted into my lap because of a public participation for budget making process. We invited the budget committee as the CSOs. We told them, because one thing, first, the backbone of society are women, youth. But again, we have persons with disabilities. The three categories never had any itemization but in that budget. So what we did, we invited the budget committee for breakfast. We asked them, this is a challenge. Can we make sure there's something at least for the bigger categories in the society, especially women and youth? Though disability, they lagging behind. As the chair of the CSO, I was told, yes, we'll do it. The committee, actually, I think most of us were there in that breakfast meeting. We were the ones who organized. The good part, promise was there. The next day, early in the morning, I got the call from the assembly that, Mheshimiwa, there's nothing. The budget is still the same. There's no change, except for person with disability. Small increment, yes, but the rest still stand. We mobilized members. We stood actually blocked the gate. But we were threatened by honorable members that will be removed with tear gas, which made us, some of us end up in hospital for days. So that's a history we have. We petitioned it through the Senate and even through the executive. But again, there's nothing was successful. Still, that does not mean we're giving up. Now we have to change the tactics to make sure we work with the community in the process. Now we have to pass. We have to capacity build the community. That's the only option we have. On the issue of public participation, it is rushed through one day. But it's not, county government also cannot do more than one day. But again, individual responsibility. Remember, when you have a right, you have also a responsibility. I want to also say one thing about the county. There was something mentioned about the Code Users Committee. I want to report that my sister Halima Kahia is now a new member in the Code Users Committee, represented from the Community Radio. Code Users Committee is well represented. Actually, we celebrate the court because court nowadays is very open. The court one, led by Honorable Magistrate Principal Rosalina Ganyo and our brother Baraka, they're very accessible and they're very transparent. I wish our community could emulate the same, but things are not happening. I want to take this opportunity to still, in the absence of the moderator, to say something about the issue of inclusivity for persons with disability. Community we come from, we don't recognize persons with disability. Executive, if you are told, clans coming with the nomination that we want our clan to get one chief officer, but again, we are told we don't want a person with disability. So the question is, where do we go? I'm born, bred, educated here. I don't know anywhere else. This is my home. That's the challenge. Access, Agbo project, access to government procurement. I want to categorize very clear that it's 10% for persons with disability, 10 for women, 10 for youth. Document advertised, then said open. Others are said for reserved for persons with disabilities, others for youth, others for women. But unfortunately, when you apply, you are told this project has already been done. If you have a company for disability, you are told it's because it's apparent disability and already have done it. Please give me this document. You have sometimes you say no, and sometimes you say yes. So sometimes, in nutshell, what are we saying? Integrity of individual matters. Whether you are the president, whether you're the cleaner at the lowest level, integrity. Access into infrastructure. Imagine Wajir County is among the biggest county. If you go to these big tarmacs, by the way, this is the first time we have seen tarmac, since devolution. Some of us, we celebrate devolution because we are pioneers. We are beneficiaries of devolution. Then unfortunately, there's no pavement. There's nowhere a wheelchair user, can come through that wheelchair, that road, can join at least the junction. They don't have any junctions. So everything is open. Sometimes it's steepy. Some disabled can fall down when they want to get off the road. It's very risky. So that's not considered. We have a beautiful governance office, and I want the ForumCiv team led by actually the host Halima, my brother Nasir, and Michael Makavana to take them to the governance office. Access for person with a disability is zero. It's not there. The only department that has access to person which has a ramp and a pavement is only the AFI house. We have to also say what is there. ICT, unfortunately, we had a CEC who was a disabled, but again, the question comes in. I'm a disabled person, but how am I passionate about disability issue? That is another factor. Somebody is taken as a disabled, and then funny part, you're not concerned about it. You want to block disability. You don't want to associate because you feel yourself being a disabled was a problem. You don't believe in yourself. So sometimes when we are represented and this government want to just say Fatuma is a disabled, let us take her, beating, she's a woman, again, woman with disability. You're killing one bird with two stones as a disabled and as a woman. Then, but who is this Fatuma? Is she really interested for issues of disability? Does she have the responsibility? Does she want to take the responsibility, or does she want to make an income for herself? That's the challenge we face. CSOs, we have the responsibility of even having a litigation program, a litigation component, but again, that also needs something. CSOs are also in the risk. We lost HRDs in other counties, but also the risk sometimes evacuating HRD from here to other parts of Kenya was an issue for us. But we pray, let's embrace one another. Let's work together. As a right holder, we have also a responsibility to make sure you hold your leaders accountable without insult, abusing, or even threatening. And we know a lot of calls, elders will be sent, we know. But again, you know how to play your cards well. Thank you very much.
Asante sana. Ikiwa basi tunamungoja moderator wetu ameenda washroom kidogo. We'll take two questions. One from this side, that man with Kaunda. Questions. Tafadhali kama ni maoni unachangia, pia ulize swali. Tafadhali. Oscar, kujipeleka tafadhali. Next ni wewe.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First and foremost, let me thank the conveners of this forum. This is an important forum, and it is deemed governance and accountability in Northern Kenya. Accountability and governance is envisaged in 4 ways. Looking at resource allocation, decision-making processes, transparency, and citizen participation, which are very fundamental principles of governance. In Wajir, there are many gaps in regards to this. And I'm happy that we are starting a conversation to come together so that we tackle this issue very wisely. Looking at Wajir currently, we have no mechanisms that are put in place for citizens to access information about ongoing development projects. Looking at the community, their voices are not incorporated into the decision-making processes regarding policies, and therefore, it is just important that we start that conversation as we are doing now, and we build the capacity of our communities, provide advocacy so that we can achieve the fundamentals of this forum. Secondly, now is a question, and this question is to the Kenya National Commission of Human Rights. There is a runaway disappearances, as Honorable Maimuna has asked, and I'm not referring to what has happened recently in Wajir, but it is across Kenya since the demonstrations by Gen Zs. And I like the Kenya Human Rights from the beginning because they showed concern by reporting the number of people who are lost, others who disappeared. And if I have not lost my count, the last time they were talking about 72. Then from there, they became silent. They became silent about the whole issue. Ali, you said this is an independent commission which focuses on safeguarding the interest of Kenyans, especially on matters of life. You know, life is sacred, and it must be safeguarded all the times. What is the commission doing about these runaway disappearances and kidnapping? Secondly, today as we are speaking, there is a bill in the Senate extending the term limits of the president and all elected officials up to the MCA. We know Kenya Human Rights provides advisory to the government, and this bill, if it goes through, it can plunge this country into chaos, like what has happened in the 2007-2008 post-election violence. What is KNH, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, doing about that, so that we stop these looming problems? Thank you.
Thank you. So that will be the last question we are taking. So I'll ask the Honorable, the representative from KNCR to respond to this question, and then probably we will sum up these discussions. So if, Ali, I don't know whether that will be too difficult. If you can do it in Swahili, we will avoid the bit of translation, because we're also time challenged. Asante sana.
Okay, I'll try to do it in Kiswahili because Ahmed means he's telling me that there's no time. So ni kweli mwalimu, kulikuwa na ile disappearances ilikuwa reported kwa hiyo wakati wa maandamano, lakini katika commission tukipata kesi, hizo kesi kila moja inafuatiliwa kivyake. Haimaanishi kwamba hizo kesi zote zinafuatiliwa kwa njia moja, kwa sababu ziko tofauti. Ile evidence ziko available ziko tofauti, what is ile ambayo inaweza tumika kwa hiyo mambo tofauti iko tofauti. So kulingana na hizo cases, kila kesi kuna vile imefika mahali fulani na ambayo inafuatiliwa. Kuhusu ile bill umeongea, commission huwa inapeana advisory kwa yale ambayo inahusu human right. Lakini pia wewe mwananchi pia, sahi bill iko kwa public participation, na wananchi wanatakana waseme yao. So nafikiri tusiongoje tu pia commission, lakini pia wananchi waseme yale ambayo inahusu.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ali. I think that's very important for us. I said that will be the last question. I will make one exception for this HRD gentleman, Mzee Sololo, but Mzee, you have to take 1 minute, please. Just 1 minute. Okay. Proceed.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Poleni sana, bengine sauti yangu sio mzuri sana kwa vile I don't know nimekuwa old ama ni shida zingine.
Ni uzee tu, ni sawa.
Mimi swali yangu inaenda kwa Human Rights Commission. Hakuna haja kupita huko. Human Rights Commission, kuna watu wengi wamepotea, kuna watu wasichana wengi wamekuwa wamelawitiwa, rape, defilement, kila kitu. Naona ofisi yenu inakuwa ni ya kuweka tu record, ni kama ile OB imepita tu kila wakati. Nauliza, ofisi ya Human Rights Commission inaweza kusaidia yote mama ya mtoto yote ambaye amewahi amefanywa defilement, amerepiwa, mtu ambaye kwa njia mbaya pengine polisi walifanyia njama ya kupiga, kujeruhi nini, ako na haki ya kwenda kotini, na pengine amekosa pesa ndio nakosa haki yake ya kuchukua lawyer. Can your office provide a lawyer for the wale handicap, wale ambaye hawana mali amana pesa ya kujisaidia? Vile hawa ni ofisi ya Human Rights. Ya pili, nauliza ya kwamba ofisi hawa NGOs wako wengi sana Wajir. Tuko na NGOs watatu wako hapa, hata siongei wengine. Mara mingi mimi wakati mkutano yote ninaitwa, nasimama, kuna vitu tatu naongelanga sana. Ya kwanza, tunaongea juu ya ofisi ya governor, bad governance, kila kitu. Wale ambaye hawataweza kuonana macho kwa macho, uweze kuja kwa governor, je, mnaweza kukua talaba moja? Can you discuss with somebody you cannot see? You cannot discuss with somebody you cannot see, because there's no one day met for Wajir people in the governor's office. Mwananchi yote hawezi ona governor's office because governor anafaa kuona siku moja katika wiki ama katika wiki. But there's nothing, hakuna siku kama hiyo katika Wajir. Can any NGO, even we support as a civil society, go to office of the governor, cooperation with the other NGOs, ask office, governor's office, let us be given as a Kenyans, as a wananchi Wajir, one day to express our views. Atusikie tuko na nini badala kwenda nje, shida yetu ni nini?
Thank you. Thank you. So Ali atajibu swali moja na mimi nitakujibu swali moja. Hii ya kuuliza NGO. Nyinyi kwanza ni watu wa civil society. Na the chairperson ya civil society amekaa hapa. Nyinyi kama civil society organization, bring the NGOs, every actor together, you can do a public petition to the governor. Hiyo ni shughuli HRDs, civil society, NGOs can do. Kwako Ali.
First, I wanted to comment regarding the issue of, he asked whether there are people who were supported by our complaint wrong, or our complaint, who have launched with us complaint. Actually, in this, even this hall, there are so many people who have used our services. And they have enjoyed, and they have enjoyed it. And they went through, lodged complaint with us, and without naming them, and we have done what we can do. So I will not go deep into whether people can get service or not. So because that explains itself. Regarding whether there is availability of advocates for SGBV cases, normally because of the resource constraints, it may not be available by case, but it's not be available for every case. But sometimes there are some cases that maybe the commission gets interested in it. But generally, there is something called public interest litigation. Commission normally participate in public interest litigation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ali. So, to the dear stakeholders in the hall and elsewhere, thank you so much for your time. For us from the panel, tumeshukuru sana for your participation, and thank you so much. Back to the MC. Ali, over to you.
Asante sana. Wapi makofi ya moderator pamoja na panels? Asanteni sana. We have a very good session. Tunashukuru. Madam, asante. Kwa hivyo sasa wanasema kilicho na mwanzo hakikosi mwisho. Sasa wacha nimkaribishe for closing remarks ndugu yako Steve Biko aweze kutufungia session kwa closing remarks. Mr. Steve, karibu sana. Sodo.
Tuwapigie makofi tena. So wamefanya kazi nzuri. Asanteni sana kwa kupasavia ama kuweza kunyenyekea hadi wakati huu. Najua tulianzia asubuhi na muda umekwenda sana. Sasa nimekuja hapa mbele kwa kutekeleza shughuli moja. Kwa sababu tulipoanza tulisema kuwa tunataka kujadiliana, kujihusisha na masuala ambayo yanatuhusu ili tukaweza kupata possible solutions, sivyo? Na kwa wakati huu tungependa kuwa tukajadili ama tukaangazia tu masuala ambayo yangeweza kuzungumzia. Na ninapoanza tu nitachukua muda mfupi sana. Ukiangalia pale ForumCiv kuna slogan yetu ambayo inasema power to change. Sawa sawa. Kwa hivyo ForumCiv ni shirika lisilo la kiserikali ambalo linafanya kazi na mashirika mengine yasiyo kiserikali kukuwezesha ama kukupatia nguvu ili uweze kutatua ama kubuni suluhu kwa matatizo ambayo yanawakumba. Kwa hivyo si kuwa ForumCiv ndio inakuja kutatua shida za hapa Wajir, lakini kupitia ushirikiano na ASDEF, Wajir Peace pamoja na Wajir Community Radio na mashirika mengine tunaweza tukapata suluhisho kwa yale ambayo tunapitia. Kuna issue ambayo imekuwa raised kuhusu access to information. Ya kuwa katika county kuna baadhi ambao hawajui yale ambayo yanaendelea katika county. Si ni ukweli? Kwa mfano nikiuliza tu kwa sahihi, kwa ishara tu ya mkono, nani alihusika katika budget making process ya hii county mwaka huu? Inua tu mkono nione. Tunaweza tukaona wenyewe, ni watatu tu ndio wainua mkono. Kumaanisha kuwa labda kuna baadhi ambao hawaelewi ile process, wanaweza wakajihusisha nayo katika hatua ipi ama stage gani. Si ni ukweli? Kwa sababu sisi mara nyingi tunaona tu ile 30th June wakati ambayo minister anaenda na ile briefcase ya finance. Hapo ndio mara nyingi ndio tunaamka kuwa kuna kitu inaitwa budget. Lakini hii kitu huwa inazunguka the whole year. Right? Kwa hivyo Wajir Community Radio, ASDEF, katika ile kazi yenu ya kuunganisha mashirika yasiyo ya kiserikali na wananchi na government, mkaweza kuwahusisha na kuwaelimisha kuhusu hiyo access to information. Kuna ile pia ambayo inaitwa Access to Information Act ya 2016. Ni sheria ya nchi ambayo inakupa wewe nguvu ya kuandikia county ama kuwasiliana na county, kwa mfano kusema ningependa kujua ripoti ya fedha ya mwaka uliopita, ile audited. Naweza nikapata copy, na sheria inakupa nguvu kuwa unaweza ukapata hiyo nakala. Swala lingine ambayo nimeweza kuangazia ni kuhusu inclusion ya PWDs, wale wetu ambao wanaishi na ulemavu. Mashirika ambayo yako hapa, labda ningewapa changamoto ya kuwa tunapokuwa na events ama activities, tuhakikishe kuwa at least tuko na wale sign language interpreters, na pia hata katika mobilization ya kuwa tuko na wale ambao pia wako disabled ama abled differently. Si ndio? Si hiyo tunaweza tukatekeleza? Asante. Kuhusu sensitization ya bus owners, tumesema kuwa saa zingine wale ambao ni PWDs wanaweza wakaumia ama wanadhulumiwa haki zao pale njiani wanaposafiri. I think haya ni masuala ambayo mashirika ambayo yako hapa yanaweza kaangazia pia. Naenda tu mbio mbio kuhusu na nashukuru ndugu yangu kutoka Commission ambaye amekuwa hapa. Labda unaweza ukashare contacts zako pamoja na kuwasaidia kulink na mashirika mengine ya kiserikali kama IU, IPOA, Ombudsman, ili wale ambao wako na shida, mfano kuhusu enforced disappearances ama extrajudicial killing, wanaweza wakapata suluhu. Swala lingine ambayo niko nalo ni kuhusu, kuna mama ambaye alizungumza hapa ambaye tumepata kuwa ako very vocal kwa social media kuhusu masuala ya utendakazi katika kaunti ya Wajir. Labda wale HRDs ama watetezi wa haki za kibinadamu wanaweza wakashirikiana ili kuweza kumpa nguvu na kuensure kuwa katika kazi anayofanya ako safe na secure. Nikimalizia, kuna swali ambalo liliulizwa kuwa ForumCiv alikuja na team lakini hatujaona sura ya hapa. Kwa kweli sawa. Kwa kweli tunajua kuwa Kenya tuko na zaidi ya makabila 42, si ndio? We have over 42 tribes, sio? Lakini katika ForumCiv positions ambazo haziko 42. That is one. Ukweli ama uongo wenzangu? Ukweli. They are less than, wao unasema si kweli. But nakwambia uhalisia wa mambo jinsi yalivyo. At ForumCiv we don't have 42 opportunities. We have, in fact, the office that we come from has less than 20. So niambie, kwa hizo 20 ukitaka kuingiza 42 itakuwa aje? Sitakuwa ngumu. Si kuna wengine tu watapata leo, wengine watapata kesho. Kwa hivyo tu kwa heshima tunasema tu ile recruitment ambayo tunafanya kwa uwazi through transparency. Watu wanatuma application na wanaweza wakaajiriwa. Na ndio maana kwa maana unakuta mimi mahali natoka si mahali ambapo Abdul mwenzangu, labda uinue tu mkono pale nyuma. Abdul, inua tu mkono. Si mahali ambapo Abdul anatoka. Lakini huenda ikiwa kuna mwingine ambaye hangepata hiyo nafasi. Kwa hivyo nafasi zinapoonekana, changamoto kwenu vijana na wakazi wa Wajir, mkiweza kutuma, iwapo mnaafiki kiwango, then mnawapatia chance ya kukuwa employed. Sawa sawa. I think leave it at that. Alafu kuna pia document nimepewa hapa ambayo iko na contacts, nitamwachia bwana MC ataweza kuwasilisha ama kushare na nyinyi. Asanteni sana.
Asanteni sana Mr. Steve. Wapi makofi yake tafadhali. Kabla hatujafunga na maombi, nilikuwa naomba mashirika nikianza na ForumCiv, moja kwa moja mpige sahihi hapa, alafu ASDEF, Wajir Peace, hivyo moja kila mmoja kwa apige sahihi hapa, aweke kiapo. Nataka mkule kiapo. Alafu wananchi wale wameparticipate pia moja baada mwingine. Kuna kalamu ziko hapa juu ya hii kiti. Tafadhali unakuja moja baada ya mwingine mkule kiapo. Tunaanza na shirika ya ForumCiv. Yes. Hiyo ilikuwa ni mtu mmoja. Tunataka kila mtu asign. Hii nataka hii bana ijae hapa. Si mtu mmoja hata wewe hakuna corruption, ijae. Si tumekuja hapa. Haji Karkare. Aya. Kila mtu enyewe ni maoni yake. Haina hatia. Sawa, tupige sahihi. Naam. Atasign kwa sababu ame-raise concern na hawa pia hata kama hawajatoa maoni, wale wako hapa hata kama hawajaongea, hawajatoa maoni, walikuwa hapa wameisikiza na wamekubaliana na baadhi ya zile maono zilikuwa zimetolewa. Si ndivyo bwana? Asante sana. Wapigeni makofi wakiwa wanapiga sahihi. Kila mtu anakula kiapo. Alafu mimi ndio nitakuwa mtu ya mwisho. Mimi ndio nitakuwa nafunga. Yes. Siwaoni watu wa ASDEF. Hii group ya ASDEF siwaoni. Group ya ASDEF. Wajir Peace. Abdi Bilo, timu yako wako wapi? Wajir Peace. Kalamu ni mingi kalamu tuko nazo. Hizo marker pen ziko. Weka sahihi. Haji Karkare amesign, ameondoka. Sante. Ni sawa. Msiende tafadhali, kutakuwa na lunch, nitawaelekeza. Kutakuwa na lunch. Tafadhali mimi nitakuwa nawapatia mwelekezo. Msiende tafadhali.
Tafadhalini wale atujamaliza kwanza msign. Dadki sahihi kara tafadhali sahiha. Today that we pledge that will bring good governance and democracy, accountability in Wajir County. Maanta waxaan ku heshiinay inaan qalinka ku duugno maamul wanaag, cadaalad, la xisaabtan inaan maanta meeshaan ay taan ku qalinka ku duugahayno. Haddii la helay markaan ay taan annaka inagu xiran tahay markaan noo saxiixa qof walba ha sign gareeya. Tafadhalini qadaa jirtaa salaada markaa ka soo noqotaan ka bacdi qof kastaba hay'adii in yeerti gooni u arka. Markaad qadaysaan ood gooni u aragtaan hataa shah waa jiraan. Umalayna shah kalaa sii jirtaa ha tegina. Is arka maxaa yeelay maanta reer Wajir ku diyaa inta isku yimaadeen sama. Markaan ay ilaa 8 saac sheekaysta daas rabtiin dadkii mar dhawaan is arkin. Inshallah qof kastaba hay'adii u yeerti gooni ha u arka inshallah. Markaan ay faataxada in noola mara soma.
Je, uko na malalamishi yoyote? Ofisi ya KNHCR iko hapa Wajir County. Unaweza ukawasiliana nayo kupitia nambari ya simu 0464221512. Nambarada telefon kaadka heli kartaa maaragtay kuwa u dooda xuquuqda aadanaha. Xafiiskooda Wajir ku yaala. Nambarka telefonku waa 0444421512 ama hen mobile number kooda waa 0707 9437 ama waxaa ka soo wici kartaa eber 794376259. xafiiska wuxuu ku yaalaa maaragtay Wajir meeshan maaragtay Aimol agtiisa. wadadan Aimol marka aado Aimol ayuu ka soo horjeedaa. Aimol marka dhaafto Soomaa Aimol guriyada Aimol wadada Aimol ku dhex yaala. marka xafiiska meeshaas ka helaysaa northeastern second floor Aimol ayaa maaragtay ka helaysaa. haddaba waxaan dhaanay waxaan noo ducaynaya aabo sifa maaragtay ducaan ugu soo xirno meesha. sheekh noo ducay.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وربنا الرحمن المستعان على ما تصفون لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. اللهم ربنا يا ربنا تقبل منا أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
آمين يا الله. kuna lunch punde tu mtakapo swali. Kuna misikiti hapo karibuni, unaweza ukaswali. Baada ya swala utakula lunch na kuna kuwa ukitaka kula, ukitaka kuswali jukumu ni lako. Kama uko na hiyo milk card, hiyo ndio itakupea lunch. Ukitupa usilaumu mtu. Hiyo kadi kama uko nayo usitupe. Wakati pale unaenda kusafiwa basi unaenda pale ujisafi.